There was something last week about some copper in London who was sat on a bench, and he was asleep or something.
Oh, yeah.
And people were like outraged because like he should be looking after England's people, not nodding off on a park bench, which is a bit daft because
they were shouting he should be looking after England's people.
Was
this the 16th century you went back to? What do you mean he should be looking after England's people?
Wherever he was, if he was in like a park somewhere, they were like really annoyed because he was asleep. But
sure. He was probably undercover.
No, but the thing is, if there would have been any trouble, I'm sure he would have woke up.
Yeah.
If there was any if someone needed help and he screamed, he would have woke up. So I don't know why they were having a go at him.
Yeah. And he might not have been there at all. So it was he probably have his radio turned on, didn't he?
Yeah.
Listening to Heart.
So you're not concerned then that there's not the crimes going up?
I think there's enough. I see quite a lot of them whizzing around.
Okay. You're happy then? Yeah. As long as you're happy, Carl.
So you don't think it's too much crime?
No.
Just the right amount of crime.
Yeah.
What about the fact that new gambling laws give Blackpool the green light to become a British Las Vegas? What do you make of that? Are you a gambler?
Little bit when I go on holiday, like going in the arcade and having a little flutter.
Sure.
What's your favourite?
I have a go on the fruit machines.
Yeah.
There's a good one called The Simpsons.
Right.
Is that your favourite?
Yeah, it's quite good.
Is that a tie-in with the TV show The Simpsons?
Yeah.
Okay.
Will they make Blackpool the next Vegas? I don't think so.
No, nor
Can't
do
see
I.
it happening.
No. You been to Blackpool?
Yeah.
What was it?
It's a bit rank.
Is it?
It is a bit rough.
Okay.
Needs a lot of work doing on it.
Yeah.
No, that won't happen.
Okay.
And you're not worried about this encouraging gambling, generally? Gambling's not a vice you're concerned about?
If you're a gambler, you're a gambler. Do you know what I mean? If Blackpool isn't done up, they'll go somewhere else to have a flutter.
Sure.
So it's not going to make any difference.
Okay.
No.
Okay, jolly good. It's
not an act.
What is your view, Carl, on New York's former mayor becoming Sir Rudy Giuliani? Sir Rudy Giuliani.
Is he happy with it?
He appears to be pleased with it.
Let it go ahead.
Fair enough. Okay.
Go ahead. Oh, he's genius.
Okay.
Is he happy with it? He's like your nan.
Yeah. What do you make of a cat that's been cloned in a secret 2.5 million research project?
To find out what?
If they can clone cats, yeah.
Have they had to hurt it?
Sorry?
Have they had to sort of hurt it to do that?
Have they had to hurt it?
Yeah, or is it just scraping its tongue for some stuff?
I think the cat's fine. The point is that they're cloning another creature, which is potentially very dangerous. Have you seen that film where they bring Hitler back?
That cat. What if that cat turned out to be a world dictator?
Exactly. What do you reckon of cloning generally, Carl? You concerned about it?
Well, I think they're cloning for organs. They grow them for the. Do
you know what cloning means?
Yeah, it's when you make something else. That's the same, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to do any harm.
Okay. And finally...
Put him on the World Council.
Yeah. Finally, what do you make of some city workers who were caught bonking in the glass lifts of the Lloyd's building?
What do I make of it?
Yeah. Is that a problem for you? Do you think that's unprofessional?
Was it the lunch break or...?
I think it was lunch break.
It was their own...
All right.
It's their own time. I think fair enough. It only takes 45 seconds to go from the bottom to the top. Is that a problem? They moved quickly. They acted, on instinct. You think fair enough? If that's their natural instincts and they're both consenting, you think fine?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks very much, Carl.
Thanks very much, Carl.
Apparently now available, £1.5 million apartments available on an exclusive ship which sails around the world.
Yeah, it's like
what do you make of that?
It's a huge thing, and you live on it, and it's. I mean, in theory,
how big is it?
It's mental.
Do you know
it's like a town centre.
Do you know how people said that the Titanic was the biggest ship? Was that only then? They've got bigger ones now, haven't they?
Yeah,
a lot bigger.
Oil tankers are much bigger, and. Yeah.
No, but actual
liners are big. Yeah. It was the biggest then. Yeah.
Because my mum told me that there was one that was that big that it had like rough areas on it.
Oh God!
Don't go starboard.
Oh God!
No, but do you know what I mean?
Right.
It was like
we're thinking of moving. We're seeing the captain. We're thinking of moving to a nicer area. Oh yeah.
I've heard they're very rough in aft.
Oh God! Oh, that's
they steal your tyres.
A ship's so big there was rough areas. Oh.
How big is this one that you're talking about?
Well, I don't know. It doesn't give me the specifications here, but
they're huge. They're huge. In theory, I mean, it's that thing with it's obviously marketing, but they're gonna solve the overpopulation crisis, where soon we'll all just be floating around the sea.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I can see that, because I mean, think about it, right? I've been talking to Ricky about it. I was hoping to buy somewhere in London, but there is no way in this world that I can afford it, right? And you look at all the wasted space, like with the Thames, all it's doing is like collecting crisp packets and stuff and Coke cans, and people have to clean it up. Whereas if you got a load of boats on there, problem solved.
Yeah. Would you live on a boat?
Solved.
What's his name did it, didn't he? What's that programme? Is it Bergerac?
Noah. Oh, Bergerac?
There was one where he lived on a boat. I think it's quite...
That was Shoestring.
Yeah, I'd give it a go anyway.
Noah.
I'd like to see you living in the air, maybe in a giant hot air balloon.
Yeah, alright. But, no, the boat thing, because it is going to get bad as well, isn't it? They're saying that the water's melting or whatever.
The water's melting,
The ice is melting.
Yeah.
And there's going to be more water and less land. So, in the future, it's probably going to be the way we're going to be living, isn't it?
Have you seen that film Waterworld?
Nah, I don't fancy it.
Because that sort of predicts that, yeah.
What, are they saying that the ice thing
exactly,
will melt?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was thinking about this a couple of weeks ago. If you get, I mean, I think I read that, like, a big chunk of ice, fell off one of the ice, what do you call them?
Caps.
Ice caps. Something like I think they said it's the size of the Empire State Building or something.
Right.
It snapped off and went into the water, and it's melted. And they said, oh, it's bad news, you know, that something that size is melting. But the way I look at it, if something that size falls into the water, it's like a big ice cube, and it's gonna freeze it up again. You with me?
Not really, Carl.
Go on.
Right, you get a giant ice cube, the size of the Empire State Building, stick it in the water, it's gonna make, it's gonna stick back on again, isn't it?
Well, no, only if it freezes up again.
Yeah, well, it will freeze up. The water's going to get cold again because you've just put a giant ice cube in the water.
So when you put an ice cube in a drink, the drink doesn't freeze, does it?
No,
the ice melts.
If you put one the size of an Empire State Building in your glass of Jack Daniels, it's going to make it freezing.
It's not going in a glass of Jack Daniels, it's going in the ocean.
I know, but I'm using my fables. Imagine a world.
Use your brain instead.
Imagine the world, imagine the sea, like the Arctic or whatever, as a glass of Jack Daniels.
Okay.
A big ice cube falls into it.
Yeah.
It freezes, it melts back on again. So we're alright, I don't know why everyone's worrying.
God,
thank God for that, I was getting panicked.
Oh, fine.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, that will happen.
Here's a little Greek proverb for you. A society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they shall never sit in.
What do you think of that? That's amazing.
Can you say it again?
Say it again.
A society grows great when old men plant trees whose shade they know they shall never sit in. Do you understand?
Yeah. Just saying, they're planting a seed, they grow a tree, but trees take ages.
Yeah.
It takes a long time.
Yeah.
That old fella's not going to get any joy out of that.
Right.
But, if he's lucky, fella next door might have done the same years ago. So it's all about sort of planting a seed, looking after each other.
That's great, actually. It's not, I don't think it's directly what it means.
It's almost the point.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think he means that future generations. But yeah, if the next door neighbour had done that, then that works as well.
But you seem to agree that that's a good point. Do you agree that seems a good point to you?
But I'm sort of guessing he enjoyed gardening anyway. Part of the enjoyment was in planting that seed.
It's the old metaphor problem again, isn't it?
I know, yeah.
It's not specifically about trees. You know, you plant the tree, as you say, and you may never see the beauty of or the benefit of that tree, but other people will.
But as a metaphor, what he enjoyed is the fact that he's added to society and human life, and he's got a legacy and all that.
But by the same time, when I went to Ibiza, right, now there they have motorbikes, people flying around on them, people don't wear helmets. You might even get 3 people on a moped. I saw a farmer with a goat in a basket. They don't care. They're whizzing around at high speeds. A lot of deaths there.
Yeah.
And they'll have a lot of those areas where someone's come off, been killed, people put flowers there.
Yeah.
And because that happens a lot, it's a lovely green island. Now here, we're saying wear an helmet.
You're saying that all the deaths make it nice because there's flowers.
It makes it lovely.
Because there's loads of flowers
So
everywhere.
with death comes beauty. So that's another metaphor, you can have that one.
That was one of the most tortuous things I've ever... That was extraordinary.
But look at London.
That was extraordinary, Carl.
Right, Carl.
Well, look at London, though. Let me finish my point.
Let him finish his point. I'm intrigued.
Right, London, councillor with his clipboard. Need a speed bump here. I saw someone doing 35. Put some traffic lights there and a pedestrian crossing. Pelican crossing there as well. And a speed camera.
Right.
Horrible and grey.
Okay.
No flowers.
But you still see flowers left behind where people have died in terrible accidents.
They're not
You see
very
that
good
all the
ones.
time?
They're stuck to a lamppost with elastic band round them. They don't look nice.
He's knows the quality of flowers. Yeah, but the point
Wow.
is the point is
Some 15-year-old got run down and you're disappointed at the quality of the flowers.
Look at this, Suzanne. Fella lost his head here. Geraniums? Geraniums? Fella lost bloody head.
Well, that's
So we have to,
you say that,
encourage
though.
gun crime so that people get shot in inner cities and then we can put flowers up and beautify the area. Is that
No,
what
but
you're
if an
saying?
area's nicer to look in, nicer to be in, if it's nicer looking, you don't get people speeding around like lunatics. Because they go, I'm not in a rush, I'd quite like to slow down
But this
there and
is
look
so
at the flowers.
complicated. So now what you're saying is because an area is grey and gloomy, people speed around to get out of it. In the course of doing that, they knock people down, but then flowers are put up, which then makes the area beautiful, thus stopping people driving around at speed so death no longer occurs.
Well, they keep getting out of their cars to put down flowers.
And they get knocked down.
Yeah.
By other people on their way to put some flowers down.
Yeah.
Just sometimes people have to die, don't they? There was a fella outside our house who hit a lamppost. He had a helmet on, but his head come off.
You made me laugh at a man's head coming up because the way you said it.
But that's the thing.
he had a, oh God, there's a man who died in a house. He had a lamppost, he had a helmet on, but his head come off.
So you're saying that because in that one instance, the helmet did not save his life.
His head was in great condition. It's just not attached to his body. And that's what I'm saying to you. Sometimes people have to die. How far do you take all this stuff of you know, safety gear and slowing down and wear bright clothes at night? And it's just too much.
Very important point, you see. We give people crash helmets. We give them, you know, seat belts. We make them wear that, right? Do you think that's right for a start? Do you think someone should be made to wear a crash helmet? They're only hurting themselves.
Crash helmet. I don't think you should get fined for not wearing one. But then if you come off a motorbike and you hurt your head and you didn't have a helmet on, then you can't sort of go, well, they should have had speed bumps there. I didn't realise we were going too fast.
Don't forget, we're not just protecting him. He could be a father with 2 kids. So you're going, let him, if he doesn't want to wear a crash helmet, let him get brain damage. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying, we're over the top in this country.
No, but
when it comes
you're
to that
saying,
sort of
if you're
thing.
saying no, if he doesn't want to wear a crash helmet, let him not wear a crash helmet. He doesn't wear a crash helmet, he comes off his bike, he smacks his head in, he's a vegetable. He's like that, sitting at home like that. And yet the 2 little kids come to you, you're in charge, don't forget, we've put you in charge of society here, and they come to you, 2 little kids, they go, President Pilkington,
What?
why did you let my daddy not wear the crash helmet?
I didn't. We paid, we put leaflets through the door. We had adverts on the telly, Sunshine.
Yeah, but why?
It's your dad's fault.
But why wasn't it compulsory? Because he wanted.
It's not the way we live in, Sonny.
Yeah, now I haven't got a daddy.
Has he got an helmet at all? Have you seen an helmet knocking about?
No, he's a vegetable now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't want to wear a crash helmet, but why didn't you make him wear a crash helmet? It wasn't just him, it was us. Why did you turn my daddy into a vegetable?
Where's your mum?
Mum left when he kept going on about not wearing a crash helmet.
We'll put you in a home. I just think, you see, this is the problem. Everyone's looking for someone to blame.
Yes, but this is interesting though because you were particularly callous to that little 4-year-old boy. He seemed so sweet and adorable.
Yeah.
But why wasn't he giving this stick to his dad?
Well, his dad's dead. He's a vegetable.
He's dead.
He's good as dead to him.
His dad went within the law. It was not the law to wear a crash helmet anymore because you said, forget it, I don't want a nanny state. I don't want, if you wear a crash helmet or not. He wasn't a responsible parent. He hadn't thought it through. But this is your job. Some people aren't responsible. Society keeps them on track. This was you were in charge. You should have made him wear a crash helmet. He had 2 kids.
We've heard from one of the kids. What's the other one's attitude? Is he younger?
He's a bit younger.
Is he even younger still?
Yeah.
President Pilkington. Brother's crying now because you shouted at him. I wish you'd have made my daddy wear a crash helmet.
Why didn't you make your daddy wear a crash helmet?
Well, he won't listen to me because I'm not in charge
He didn't
of
listen to
society.
me.
Yeah,
He seems like a bit of a numbnut, to be
no, he
honest.
did listen to you.
What did
because
he do
you made
for a
a new
living?
rule saying people don't have to
Right.
wear crash helmets.
Right.
And he listened to you.
Did he pop shoes on in the morning when he went out? Or did I need to be here to tell him to do that as well?
No, there's certain
Oh,
things
so he
that
has
you
got
just-
some common sense then.
Well, there's enough, yeah.
Oh, right, interesting. So he can be bothered with his trainers, but he can be bothered with helmet.
I haven't got a daddy.
Jesus.
Wow, you are cruel to this kid. You
It's
are
just,
mean
this,
spirit
all
to
I'm
this
saying
kid.
is, there should be a leaflet.
I don't even know how he got in number 10, this little kid.
The thing is,
So he's got in, you should have at least a courtesy to listen to his point.
forget all, I'm sick and tired of having adverts on the telly. Don't smoke, wear an helmet, slow down, watch your kidneys, look after your
I
liver.
haven't seen that one.
No, I don't know why. Why can't they just put a leaflet through saying, hello everyone, use your common sense?
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking.
because-
That's what I take
Because
out
some
as
people don't
president.
have common sense.
Everyone's
some
got
people
common
are
sense.
fucking idiots.
Well,
mate.
it should- it's not my fault
That's
then.
why there's that's
Not
why
my
there is
fault.
a government. If we let people, all they'd be fucking idiots. They'd be eating turkey Twizzlers and fucking watching Big Brother and X Factor
But they
all
are
day,
doing. They are
and then
doing.
letting their kids run riot in
But
the
they
street.
are doing. Some families do just eat turkey Twizzlers.
Yeah.
There is little knobheads on bikes playing out till God knows what
Exactly.
hour. So it's happening anyway.
But
Yeah,
then-
but that's no argument, is it? It's happening anyway. That's no argument, Carl. It's what we've talked about here. Social responsibility. The reason people get into politics is because they feel it's their obligation to change those things. This is your approach. I wash my hands of the whole affair.
Yeah, I hope that the people who don't wear an helmet sort of they do themselves in, and that's cleared them off. That's one problem sorted.
So you think you're being Darwinian? You're thinking survival of the fittest. The idiots will soon, but they don't, because they're not just the victims. The dead person isn't the victim. It's the a very good example is okay, we've talked about it before. People who smoke know that it's dangerous. We know now that smoking gives you cancer, but why is that still legal? And yet people know that and they still smoke. Fat people know that they're going to get out of breath and clammy, and yet they still eat more. They get depressed, they're eating more. They know that they're going to be constipated for a year and a half, but they're still shoving in chocolate cake instead of carrots.
But because that's what I'm saying.
Why don't we stop them? Why don't we stop fat people eating? If you've got a smackhead and you really love him, you intervene, you grab him, you put him in a cupboard, you go, you're not coming out. He goes mad for about a year, then he thanks you for it.
Yeah.
So lock fat people in a cupboard. And just
can't
put
get
carrots
in.
under the door. What?
The thing is, there's got to be some
Carl,
responsibility.
grab Ricky. There's a cupboard over there.
You've got to take some responsibility, haven't you? Now, if it's your own fat kid, stick him in your cupboard. But what I'm saying is, as a counsellor, I'm not spending taxpayers' money on cupboards to put the fat kid in.
Listen, are you disappointed by the nation that a third of us are apparently unaware of St. George's Day?
23rd.
Is St. George's Day the one with the snakes that we've talked about?
No, that's...
Are you one of that third, do you think?
St George is the patron saint of England who killed the dragon.
Yeah, I mean, there's too many of these days, isn't there? That's the problem. If you make it a bit more special, like Christmas, so you buy presents and that for each other, then people will remember it. But there's so many these days with Easter and Pancake Tuesday and all that. So it's not surprising. I think as time goes on, we'll find that a lot of these days will just disappear because, people are busy.
There'll be new ones, won't there?
I don't know. People
There'll
are
be
that
like
busy.
Gareth Gates Day in 50 years' time.
It's just weird. I mean, I remember being a kid, right? Going out on a Sunday and shops would be shut because it was like, the day of rest and all that. People don't care now. It's like, well, we can make some more money, we'll open the shops.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's
Is that a
all
good or a
about-
bad thing, Carl?
It's good, because I remember I used to have to get up early to go and get some bread if we didn't have any in. Because the shop would only be open for a couple of hours in the morning.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'd be able to...
Yeah, I
rely
remember
in.
that. I remember that. Shops and you couldn't get aspirin and stuff,
Exactly.
certain things.
Yeah, nightmare on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
So-
That's right, yeah. And pubs didn't open till 12.
Do you remember space operas?
Yeah. Yeah, shut up. Can I ask you something?
Go on.
Okay, I've got a little list of things. What do you think of, like, those pug dogs that are bred and they can hardly breathe?
Evil.
Yeah. What do you think of, gays?
They're alright. Do you know what I mean? Just like straight people, you get bad ones, you get good ones.
Exactly.
The pension crisis
Sure.
is going to force Britons to work into their 70s, Carl. You might have to carry on working into your 70s before you can claim a pension.
I think it's a good thing. Because you see a lot of old people who look bored.
Okay.
And I honestly think if you keep your brain busy,
Yeah.
you'll live longer.
Yeah.
It's only when you actually shut down, right, that's when your body sort of dies because it doesn't feel it has a purpose. It's like if you've got flu, keep going to work. If you have a day off, you just feel worse. You'll mope about at home. It doesn't do you any good.
What about
whatsoever.
where do you draw the line there? What if you say lose a finger? Pop into work?
Depends. If you can't concentrate because it's painful.
But what if you're a typist?
Or
You're not going to
pianist?
type as many words, but you'll do more at work than you would having a day off at home.
Sure. Okay. Tony Blair turning trendy with his Paul Smith designed naked lady shirt. I don't know if you've seen this. It's the one with the pictures of naked ladies on the cuffs.
And, you know, I mean...
Okay. And finally...
see, this is what annoys me about this feature. It's just, what's that? So what?
Yeah, but it's the Prime Minister of this country wearing a trendy shirt with naked ladies on the cuffs.
All right.
Carl, this is important. This is just projecting into the future. Just projecting into the future now, K-Man. Apparently, global warming will bring sizzling summers and weird wildlife to Great Britain in the future. Are you worried about that?
How soon?
Soon enough for you to worry.
Yeah, it's pretty worrying.
Okay.
Um,
You wouldn't prefer it to be sunny here all the time?
no, because with hot weather comes with spiders and that. See, I always think we're quite lucky here.
Yeah.
If you live in Australia, you might have the sun and stuff, but you've got like deadly snakes,
Yes.
Yeah.
which are deaf. Did you know snakes are deaf?
Snakes are deaf.
They don't have ears.
Okay.
So you're all right walking about behind them.
Yeah. But if they see you ahead of you,
you know.
you're in trouble.
But yeah, with places like Australia, you know, people go, "Oh, it's great, it's sunny," but they don't talk about the spiders and
They keep the spiders.
lizards
Yeah.
and stuff.
Quite.
So I think we've got a bit of both the best worlds.
So you're worried though about in the future, vultures flying through the sky, we've got various creepy crawly snakes. You concerned
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, well, there's a load. I saw something in the news in the week that a load of sparrows or something was somewhere. Maybe that's the start of it.
That's an interesting story.
Was that front page or? There's a load of sparrows somewhere.
No, about
Read all about it. Sparrows somewhere.
Some sparrows somewhere.
Sparrows somewhere.
Load of sparrows somewhere.
Sparrows somewhere.
I've been getting a lot of messages on Facebook. Suddenly got like a load of messages coming in at the same time about one topic. And when that happens, you sort of go, this is it. Like Richard Branson, that's what he says. He says he gets loads of posts, loads of phone calls, and he hasn't got time to go through them all. So he waits until the message gets to him or something. It's like, if it's important, you'll eventually find out. Anyway, I can't look at every message you get on Facebook, but suddenly there was the same message from loads of different people. So I thought, right, this must be important. What is it? And I clicked on it, and it was a bit of monkey news. I don't know if you've seen it. I'll play it here so you can see it. It's this. This little monkey comes round the corner on a motorbike. He grabs the kid, runs off. And everybody was like going, this is terrible. What is going on? There's a monkey kidnapping a kid. But I don't know if I can turn the audio up so you can hear it. But if you hear it when it first comes round the corner, to me that sounds like a siren. And I'm wondering, I don't know where this is, it's sort of Asia or something like that. I'm wondering if this is how they're dealing with the lockdown. Like I say, if you play it back from the beginning, right, you're hearing a siren there. That bike's got some sort of siren on it, like, and that bike is a proper little motorbike, that, a monkey-sized motorbike. So I'm wondering whether in Asia, to deal with the amount of people ignoring lockdown, they've got monkeys doing the rounds and making sure people stay in. And I think that's what's gone on here. He's come tearing round that corner there, down this alleyway, and he's found this family who should be at home, should be behind doors, and they're not. They're fanning about in an alleyway. And the way the way he comes tearing down, it's like he's caught these before. He's annoyed with them. He's livid. I mean, he's probably gone for the kid because he knows that if he takes the kid, the adults will follow. The way he just like gets off his bike again, like how many times have I told you? I mean, a little motorbike's a giveaway. That's a monkey-sized moped that it's been issued with. Little monkey law enforcers. I suppose it's good because you're not going to argue with it because it can't speak English or wherever this is. So it's just going to go in and try and do the job, shift the people. And I think that's what's gone on here. But you see, I see things like that and I think, hang on. is that starting to creep in here as well? Because all this talk about loads of PPE kit, it's like they've got loads of it now. There's like a mask, a face mask, a thing they wear on their head, a thing all over the body, and it makes you wonder if in our hospitals we've got little monkeys walking about the wards helping out, and you've no idea because they've got that much PPE on. You can't see the little chimps sat under there. Do you know what I mean? But I mean, help's help, and I suppose when times are bad, everyone's got a chimp in, you could say. Anyway, monkey.
Alright, this is Carl's favourite song, Killing of Georgie. Yak speaking. Just want to ask if you've got any ideas for future compilation themes, then let me know. youtube.com/yak. Cheers.
Apparently, there was a crook that got a security job at Heathrow. Right, he was a crook and he got a job at Heathrow. As robbers steal another £2 million. Apparently security down there is lax.
Yeah.
Is that a concern for you?
Is this another
Yeah.
2 million?
Yeah.
Why is all this money at the airport?
It's those sandwich shops. You know how they're really expensive, the sandwiches when you're in a plane. They're like £2.50 for tuna, which is ludicrous.
Yeah.
That's basically the reason.
What do you mean, why is all this money at airports?
What is it doing there? Why?
Have a go. No, have a go answering this yourself. Why is anything at an airport?
It's going somewhere.
Or coming in from somewhere.
Yeah, but money, you can sort it out through the bank, like phone banks and that.
Have you done commerce? You know a lot about paying bills and writing out checks. Yeah.
Tell us about Kellogg's.
What was it like? What was in the factory? Was it just like squashing bits of corn?
Pretty boring, really. Just loads of conveyor belts,
Yeah.
boxes of cornflakes everywhere. Just what you imagine.
Yeah.
So is it more, this is where you might be working? This is where you're likely to work? if you
Possibly.
leave
There was
school?
2 trips. There was that and a trip to Manchester Evening News.
Okay.
And I left that early because I had a job in Cordon Bleu.
In Kellogg's.
Cordon Bleu, what's that?
It's like a supermarket.
Yeah?
And I had to leave the trip early, and the teacher went mad saying they thought I'd got lost on the, in the building and stuff.
What, you
It
didn't
caused
tell
a light
anyone?
uproar. No, because it was like day 2 of working in this supermarket, and I couldn't be late. I thought by the time I explain where I've got to go and everything, I'll be even later.
Sure.
So I just left, and then apparently they were searching the building and everything for me.
How old
And I might have
were
been
you?
stuck in a printer. Don't know.
Stuck in a printer!
I don't know.
What was the printer's name?
You worked at a supermarket called Cordon Bleu.
Yeah,
Cordon Bleu!
Brilliant.
That's great, isn't it?
it's rubbish.
Oh.
Got sacked.
You've had some
What did you
amazing-
get sacked for?
Messing about in a back in the car park round the back.
Yeah.
Right, there was a grid, and all the concrete had gone funny. So when it rained, you got like a big lake,
Oh, yeah.
right? And I got in. Do you know those big metal trolleys you get to like put all the food in whilst?
Oh,
you
yeah,
And
yeah.
I got in one of them and pushed myself out into this lake.
Of cement.
No,
Of
it
water.
was full
Oh, it
of
was
water
water,
'cause it'd been
right,
raining.
right.
And I got stuck in the middle, right? And the boss was like, "Where's Carl? He's meant to be doing, facing up the beans." And I was like,
And you were
so-
stranded in a lake.
So someone said, I saw him messing about out the back. He came out and saw me stuck in the middle of this lake in a trolley. And he said, get back in. I said,
Would you say, no, I'm filming sharks?
I said, it's too deep. I can't get out. You'll have to pass me something. And he said, I'm not passing you nothing. He said, you can get out of there and walk through it. I said, I'm not. I've got my trainers on. Probably the same ones.
Yeah, you've risked
actually.
your life for them.
Yeah. I said, I'm not getting these wet. He said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to wait for the water to go down the grid. He said, the grid's blocked. Now get out or you're sacked. I said, well, I'm not getting out. He said, right, you're sacked.
So you were sacked? How long did you have to wait for the water to go down the
In
grid?
the end, I did get bored, and I sort of did a bit of a leap and a jump and got 1 foot wet.
How long were you waiting?
Maybe about half an hour.
Just think of it. Just think. I mean, how did he get himself into that situation?
So, back at the Chosen 500 in ancient Greece, right, you're one of them. What other things?
I like that saying, the one about do to others as you'd like to be treated yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Pop that on a leaflet, pop it through the door.
But you seem to be doing a lot of leafleting. That seems to be your entire governance seems to be guided by popping leaflets through doors. And I get a lot of leaflets, so I'm presuming the rest of the country does, and it's not always working. So maybe sometimes you've got to instigate something a little bit more strong-minded than fucking leaflets, my friend. Maybe you've got to make a couple of laws.
You've got to every individual can go, how would I want to be treated? Well, I'd want someone to throw cake at me.
Yeah.
Because I'm a greedy bastard.
I would want someone to steal my telly.
I'd probably start on the way you look.
Right, go on.
I'd just say, right, you know, make an effort, tidy up your house, and I'd have some sort of.
I'm poor.
Doesn't matter. You can still tidy up.
Can we get better houses then? Because
well, look after the one that we've let you.
Yeah,
Get rid of that old mattress that's in your garden there. Clean the windows, and then we might give you a nicer one. At the moment, you don't deserve anything nicer. And that's what I'm saying. You've got to be honest with these people. Wake them up.
I like that.
Sure, you've got to be honest with them. You've got to wake them up through the heavy leafleting campaign.
Yeah.
But do you see the problem with some of what you're saying, Carl, is that it's very hard to enforce that in law because it seems unjust and unfair. You can't really start legislating against people's looks or whether they want. I mean, you have to keep your house tidy. I mean, who decides how tidy it has to be? It's the tidy police. I mean, that's a strange.
Well, hold on though. I like wearing sort of these denims. It expresses who I am, and I like wearing a beard because I just think it's natural. I don't really like shaving, and I like this sort of smell. I like this smell of BO. That's who I am as a person. So how can you impose that on me just to be part of society? Who are you to infringe my rights as an individual?
What do you want out of life?
Well, no, I think I just like to say I don't want to conform. I don't want to just shave and wear a suit and I keep myself to myself, and I like to just grow a beard and eat porridge with my hands. I'm not hurting anyone, so I don't know why I have to conform to that society.
Well, there's nothing I can do for you. You're wasting my time, really.
Although I do feel ill, I need to go to hospital now. So I'm gonna go to the hospital now if that's all right. Is there care for me?
Well, what's up with you?
I've got diseases from like eating with my hands, and there's things growing in my beard.
Right.
So we clean that up for me now.
No, because it's all been brought on yourself.
Well, no, but that's irrelevant. A lot of people bring things on themselves, but you can't just like ignore them because it's just part of it's a bad society.
So how do they learn then?
I don't know why I'm being punished for being stupid.
How do they learn then? I don't understand why I've got to worry about you.
I've got
proper ill people.
Well,
you had a kid whinging at me this morning because his dad was a Mong.
Talked about the little fella planting a tree that he will never sit under. He's given that to the next generation. Okay? Now, big discussion about donor cards. Of course, there's no reason not to give your kidneys away after your death, to all your organs. They're no good to you, and you'll be helping life. It's perverse to me that you wouldn't want to donate your body to a worthy cause after your death. Medical research, whatever. You agree with that, don't you?
Well, you know how I feel about it a little bit. I don't like the idea of certain bits.
Why not? What does it matter?
Just because there's certain bits that are really personal to you, aren't they?
No, there's not. What bit is more personal than another bit to you?
Well, like I've said, my eyes. They're my eyes. They see stuff I like.
Yeah.
Now, what happens if someone else has them? And they start looking at stuff I don't like. I don't like the idea of that.
But that's ridiculous, because your eyes they're just bits of tissue. Then they haven't got your
but we don't know, because they found out there's something called cellular something or other that I've told you about the person who had some sort of operation and ended up like in Yellow Biscuits. I've told you about it.
Yeah, but that's bollocks.
It's the same thing
told
with
us
the
about
eyes.
it, but I dismissed it as bollocks immediately. Not just because you said it, because it was intrinsically bollocks.
No. But it could work the other way anyway, where the person who has my eyes starts, like, looking at ants and insects and stuff. I might carry on.
Bollocks. Again, this is all bollocks. Got none of your memories, none of your thoughts, none of your reasoning, nothing of you, none of your personality. They're just a collection of cells that now have light going through them and making this new person see. They're a lens. They're a lens. That's all they are. So there's no reason why, this was the crazy thing, isn't it, when people started saying that they wanted their organs to go to a particular race of person, and obviously that's illegal. Also, it shouldn't be the choice, really. I think you should have that opting out, that you have to say that you don't want your organs given after, and if you die, then they assume that those organs are up for grabs because there's a shortage. So what do you think of that?
Like I say, they can have certain bits. They're not having the eyes. I think that's fair.
What, can they have the cock and balls?
I prefer it if they didn't.
You're saying no one's going to have my eyes or my cock and bollocks.
What if the tables were turned?
Yeah.
What if someone said, Carl, you've lost your cock and bollocks in a terrible accident. It's all right, we put some flowers at the scene of it. It's brightened that area up. But we found a donor who's happy to give you his cock and bollocks.
He's dead, but his cock and bollocks we kept on.
Would you accept them?
They're absolutely lovely match.
Better than yours.
Yeah.
Bigger, younger.
Yeah, go on then, I'll have them.
You'd have
So
them?
you would, you'd have someone else's cock and bollocks, but then you wouldn't donate yours to someone
But
else.
what about this? What if you discovered later, right, that the person who donated the cock and bollocks, right, was a sex pervert? was a homosexual sex pervert?
I don't think, though, that I'd bother looking into the history of these cock and bollocks.
You
It's
just
not
accept
like,
them.
You'd
accept them willy-nilly, but what if you just found out by
That
chance?
was his name. That was his name, willy-nilly. That was his stage name. And
What
he'd
if
come
you
on and
found
show
out
him
by
and they-
chance?
How do I find out by chance? What's the scenario
They
there?
say, well, the doctor goes, I should tell you, I know you believe in a load of shit about yellow biscuits and bollocks like that, so I'll just tell you in case anything goes weird, this was a sex pervert's cock and bollocks, so if you find that you're sticking these through letterboxes, don't worry, it's not your fault. It's where they wanted to have gone. That's
Would it concern you if you accepted the cock and bollocks that had a past like that?
Yeah, because the problem is, it wouldn't be that bad if I had his eyes,
Right.
why?
because then I'm seeing what he wants to see, and
That doesn't
mess
make
with
any
it.
sense at all,
But
Carl. It
unfortunately,
makes no sense at all.
If the match is wrong, the eyes don't go with the cock and bollocks anymore.
I don't know.
So something's going to lose out here. Either the cock and bollocks, they're not going to get what they want anymore, or the eyes are going to be upset.
So are you scared of the idea, to go back to your yellow biscuit analogy, that the cock and bollocks you inherit, that whatever the previous owner did with them,
Lives on.
that
Bollocks.
scares you, does it?
Okay, there's one final scenario here, Carl. Okay. You haven't opted out, so your organs go to where they like. Now, unbeknownst to you, there's a big waiting list. There's a thing. They've got all your details, and you said, yeah, whatever. I don't want to know. You wouldn't want to know, would you? After you die, where it goes. You say, I don't, because you've said you don't want to know. If you don't know, you have a lovely life. When you die, they can go anywhere. They can do what they will. Okay. Now, unbeknownst to you, they have got it down. They've donated your arse, right, for use, to a gay rapist with AIDS. Okay. So they are saving a life there. So when you die, they go, right, it's still warm, get that gay rapist with AIDS round here, because that's going to stop him raping someone and give him AIDS. He comes round, he's straight up there. He's shagging you, right? You're basically saving a life, right? By letting him do that, right?
Sorry, I'm confused here.
What?
Why is the gay rapist with AIDS got the arse? What's
No,
he doing?
he's still connected to Carl. They've donated the arse, so when Carl dies, the doctors go, right, we're going to stop a terrible thing here.
So the gay rapist can shag the arse?
he shags, going round, he shags Carl, gets out of his system and goes, phew, that stopped me.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Right, so
So it's just Carl's disembodied arse on a...
No, it's the whole Carl.
Oh, is that putting Carl's dead?
So Carl gets struck, he's having a heart attack. They go, free, clear. They go, no, we've lost him. At 10:01, they go, oh, he's a arse donor. And they go, okay, where's the nearest gay rapist with AIDS live? Next door, get him round here. They go, okay, the gay rapist comes round and goes, where is he? Right? He goes, there he is, right? So Carl is face down. Now they turn him over, they go, there's the arse, you got 10 minutes, then we got to bury him.
I'm surprised you didn't know this guy was living next door.
Right. So the gay rapist gets on top. He goes, right, this is lovely, right? He's loving it. He's shagging you. Right. Now, this is the weird thing. The doctors next door, they go, okay, the gay rapist will be finished soon. And then we have to bury him. But we should inform his next of kin. They go, oh, it's Suzanne. They go, your husband's, Daddy's avatar. She goes, oh my God, you come round and just identify the body. I'd leave it a couple of minutes. But, then come round. She goes, oh God, I'll be right there. So Suzanne's on her way. The gay rapist, right? He's pummeling you away, right? But you will not believe this.
Oh my God.
The movement and the way he's shagging you, right, has started your heart.
Wow.
Right?
This is a stroke of amazing good fortune.
Right? So you go, he goes, right? He, right, has a heart attack. right? And he flops down on you. He just like headbutts the back of your head. So now, you're both naked, this gay rapist is up your arse, he's dead, right? The shock is you go, fuck me, how can I get out of this, right? You wriggle, you fall onto the floor. So now, he's on the bottom, face up, you're on top of him, he's still in you. His cock is up your arse, you're sat on him, wriggling, Suzanne walks in, goes, Karl, what the fuck are you doing?
She's heard about me being dead, and because she's come to the hospital.
She goes, and they go, he's in there, and she goes, he's not dead, I can see him. They go, oh, because it's been terrible. She bursts in, there you are, on top of him, wriggling to try and get his knob out your arse, right? You're sitting on a man who's dead. What do you say?
I'd just say we got to join Booper.
Hard, isn't it, to imagine yourself a different period in time and how you would have reacted. Now, if you think about America in the 1950s, black people still very much second-class citizens. You've obviously heard of the famous Rosa Parks incident, in which she was obliged to move on the bus from where she was sat to somewhere else, and she chose not to, and she was arrested for it. Became very much a sort of figurehead of the civil rights movement. Had you been travelling on that bus,
what would you do?
And am I far from where I'm getting off?
So once again, you can't just nip out at the next stop so you can wash your hands of the whole affair. No, you're on that bus. You've still got a number of stops. You live further away than Rosa does because you've got a lovely big house, whereas she doesn't have a lovely place. She can't afford it. So you've got to stay on that bus. You've seen this now. You've seen this bus driver demanding that she gets up, gives up that seat. Maybe she's given up that seat for you. Maybe you've got on that bus as a privileged white man and she refuses to get up on your behalf.
I'd probably go, it's alright, I'm standing, I'm alright.
But why would you say that? Because you're thinking of the modern day Karl, you're not thinking of the man from the 1950s.
Well, the thing is, we don't have to go back in time. We can go to a country now where you'd see an injustice, where you were outnumbered by the law of the land. What if Suzanne wasn't allowed to sit with you on buses? What if now a law came in that women were second-class citizens and she can't come with you? Wouldn't you go, no, fuck that, she's sitting with me?
I'd say we're only going around the block. We've been to the shopping centre. We're only 15 minutes. Can you take that bag with you? Because there's no one sat next to you down here. I'm a bit crammed in up here. There's more blokes on the bus. I'll see you in a minute. It's not a big issue. I've done it on the train, where I've booked tickets and they've ended up being different tickets. And I'll go, I'll see you in an hour and a half. I've got an iPod.
So
you went first class and she was in the
that's luck. That's luck. That's circumstance. One is policy. Surely you can just see the difference between a principle and a bit of luck.
But it's what you get used to at the end of the day. I mean, I'm not walking past them and slapping them on the back of the head. I'm getting on, and it's just that's where they sit, that's where we sit. Like men and women going into a separate toilet.
Karl, let's put this to I mean, obviously, this is too much for your head to... You're on a bus, right, and there's a few white people, and
I'm the driver.
And they're being racist to a black kid.
Right, I'd go, if I'm driving, I'd go, listen, lads, stop that, will you?
If you're going to be racist, can you get off at the next stop and do it there?
You know, we've all had a tough day. It's the end of the day. We just all want to go home. We've all been working. Right. He's not in your way. He's sat in his own seat. Sit back. Calm down. Had enough.
But what if they said, no, we usually sit there. We want that seat. Would you think the black kid's a troublemaker? Or would you go, come on, just move, mate. It'd be peaceful.
I'd go, what do you want to do? Do you want to move so this is calm down? Or
No, you shouldn't say that. He doesn't matter if he wants to move or not. It's his right not to move.
Do what you want, then. If you want to stay there and fight your own corner.
No. He wants to stay there. Don't you surely you want to be on the side of right.
I'm just doing my job here. I'm sat driving a bus. I'm driving a bus for 30 quid a week here. I'm getting a load of grief off some people at the end of the day.
But think bigger than the bus rule. It's not just a bus thing, alright? Just imagine that you're not a bus driver. Alright?
No, but that's what we're talking about here.
But yes, but Ricky's trying to make a point. It's an analogy again. It's about you taking some kind of responsibility that could put you in harm's way. Yeah. That could mean that you've got to stand up to danger or to bullies or to aggression.
If someone's attacking Suzanne, she goes, Karl, help. You go, no, No, I
Of
could
course
get
I
her
know,
here.
because I know the full story here. But this is what I'm saying
What
about
do you mean you know the full
Rosie.
story here?
Rosie, what's it? I'm just saying, she sat on the bus. How did it work? She
tell
got
you
on the
how it
bus,
worked.
she sat where she wanted.
No, I'll tell you how it worked. The middle section of the bus, black people could sit there, but it was up to the driver's discretion to change where black people could sit, depending on the number of white passengers that got on. So she sat in a seat, some more and more white passengers get on, so this bloke decides, well, no, actually, this is no longer the black section, there is no black section, because there's enough white people, you've got to stand up. And she decided, no, I'm not going to get up. It's my right to be able to sit on this bus, as a person, as a human being, not whether or black or white. And that was why she got arrested.
Well, she lost in the end, didn't she?
What do you mean she lost in the end? There's a black president.
Yeah, but it's not because of her getting on a bus. That's just because times changed.
Yes, in a way
Well,
it is.
I dunno.
Because
It
she
is.
became a spearhead of the civil rights movement that was
had a
spearheaded by Martin Luther King.
All those little things go towards change.
On a different bus, on a different day, it might not have turned out that way. That's what I'm saying. It might have been, you know, someone else who goes, get off, who's been in a right mood, might have been in the pub all afternoon. And she's there going, I'm not moving, and he's fed up, he's up to here with it.
Sorry, so she's pissed up now.
She's pissed up now.
No, the
been watching
person
the
sat
rugby.
next to her
Yeah.
might have even been a black bloke who's been working hard, and he's like, I don't want this.
But it's interesting you say
The
that.
bus pulls over, the police are called in.
But you say this, it's interesting you say that because in the Rosa Parks incident, there were a number of other black men, all of whom did stand up. I think 5 of them were there, and 4 of them stood up, and she stayed sat down. So there was 4 people there who did choose the easier route, the easier life, and she stayed sat down, and she's the one who went to prison, and she's the one who's remembered because of what she did on that day.
It's difficult, isn't it? If I was on there, I'd weigh her up. You know, is this woman doing this as like a good cause, or is she just a trouble causer? Because she just seemed like, you know, I'll do what I want. Now that's fine. You'll always get people who do what they want, and they do change the little rules along the way. But I bet when she was doing it, it wasn't like a big stand up. This is the day I'm going to do it. It's just happened to. She was fed up that day. She didn't want to get up. Lazy. She might just go around law breaking all the time, and she's remembered now because she'd made a change about bus seats. Well, when she got up that morning, did she say I'm going to do that, or has she been fly tipping before she got on the bus? This is what I'm saying. Is she just you know?
No, she's not a troublemaker. She's someone who already had a burgeoning interest in the civil rights. I mean, I really thought the Rosa Parks incident was pretty cut and dry. The fact that Carl's managed to find an ambiguity in it is extraordinary.
I love it.
Tell me something else about Rosie Parks.
Oh, for God's sake. I don't know what she's got to do to win you round, Carl. Honestly, I didn't realise it would be this difficult. Hang on, I just want to recap slightly. So there was a family, and who had the horse in the family?
It was...
Because you lived on an estate in Manchester.
So the mother was a right pig, apparently.
Well,
I don't know whether that's
you
relevant.
don't need to go that far.
But
what I'm trying to do is, like, make a picture for you so you understand.
What does she
what a
look
picture
like?
it
Who
is.
did she look like?
Bit of a... and no disrespect to her. Bit like Pauline Quirk.
Quirky, yeah.
Right?
Okay. I knew you were going to say that. I knew it was going to be Pauline. Did she have any tats? Did she have any tattoos?
I've never got that close to her.
Okay, alright.
So who had the horse? Was this her son or her
No,
husband?
her daughter.
Her daughter had stolen a horse.
Yeah, from, I don't know where, I think it was some stables down the road or something.
And they kept the horse in the house with
They
them.
kept it in the house.
Did
but
they
didn't
get
have
caught?
it for long.
No.
So, and you said you were in the house one day and you saw the horse
No,
in there.
what happened was, I was, they did this thing at school about raising money for charity, right? For some local charity. And they said you can do anything to raise money, and they came out with all these ideas, and I thought, that's good.
What was the charity?
But I don't know, I thought, forget the charity.
Yeah, that's
I'm
just
a
a good
charity
money-making
eater.
idea.
So-
You're a charity.
So I asked my mum for some, because she used to have a lot of flowers around the house.
Sure.
I said, can I just take some snippings off them? And I'll go and buy some plastic cups. And got some soil out of the garden, planted the bits of plants in them.
Yeah.
Got a tray.
Yeah.
Had about 25 plants on it, selling them for 25 pence each.
Excellent. Did you sell any?
Yeah, so loads.
So did you just cut, you didn't just cut them and stick them in the
Yeah, they
soil?
want to survive.
Oh.
But I think people sort of thought, well, good on him for trying. But anyway, so I went round to theirs, because I thought their house could do with a bit of colour and stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit rough. So as I went
The
up,
horse went, thank God for that breakfast. They've been feeding me kitty cat.
so I got up to the door, and they opened the door, and it was one of them houses where no carpet,
Yeah. A horse in the living room.
You know.
We've all been there.
and the horse was walking around the living room.
Oh.
I looked quite happy and everything, because I always say that about animals.
Black Beauty
right?
was on. Yeah.
Well, think about it, right? If you were a horse, where would you rather be? In a little wooden hut with a load of hay, or in like a house with a
Central heating.
3-piece suite and a telly and that?
Telly and that.
No, but I was saying this the other day,
And an Atari.
right? I was walking through London the
Commodore
other day.
64,
Yeah.
rubbish.
Exactly.
Walking through London with Suzanne, right?
Yeah.
And you know, like homeless people always have dogs. And
Yeah.
she said, "Oh, I hope she looks after it." I said, that dog is happier than most dogs
Right.
because people always walk past and give it a pat on the head.
Yeah.
It's with its owner all the time.
Yeah.
It's out in the open. It's not locked up in a house.
Yeah.
It doesn't
You know what I
eat,
mean?
but other than that.
No, it does eat though. They're always all right. So that's what I was saying. I think this horse was doing all right for itself. Do you know what I mean?
Well, not many horses have got their own house.
Exactly.
For a start, yeah.
But anyway, that's what
That's
we
by
were
the
talking
by.
about. Yeah. So anyway, this family who's a bit. What we were talking about? It was about cloning.
Genetically modified kids
Yeah.
and all that stuff, yeah.
Right. Now, what I'm saying is, you could say, you know, right, Steve, you could have a baby, right? And Ricky could see it and say, God, I want one that looks like that.
Yeah.
Right?
It could happen, Rick.
So,
Come on, work with him.
so you take it to the doctors, and I don't know what they do, they inject it with something or whatever,
Yep, that's how it's done.
Yeah.
and get a little baby, and there it is, it looks the same. Now, the thing is, you separate, you both go off and do your own things.
Yep.
Right? Now, you look at Stephen, you look after your baby,
Yeah.
you treat it well, you give it good food and
I'm a
that,
good dad.
all the vitamins and stuff.
Yeah.
Ricky just gives it cheese. Right? So then it changes its looks, it goes a bit fat, you know, it gets tired easily, and that sort of thing. Now, when this family...
Why am I just feeding a baby cheese?
Right, this family who had a horse in their house.
Yeah.
They had a little baby, and my mum went round and said, "You're not going to believe this, but it's a beautiful looking baby," right?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you know. And the weird thing is, it was a good looking kid, but as time went on, they didn't really look after it. And I'm not saying like abusing it, but it used to run around, it used to play out till like 10 at night.
Yeah.
It used to chase cars.
Right.
It was a bit...
Did it have hooves?
Yeah, no. Chase cars!
Right.
What sort of kid chases cars? Oh, God.
No.
Was it called Rover?
The weird
Did it catch sticks?
It's Liam, it was called, right?
Right.
Now, the weird thing is, it was a good-looking kid, but as time went on, and all that, like, not eating properly and its hair was all patchy.
It's not Liam Gallagher, is it?
And chasing cars and that, and it became an ugly kid.
It's definitely Liam Gallagher.
And that's what I'm saying, right? You can clone all you like, but at the end of the day, it's how you brought up.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Whoa.
Life.
Wow.
That was a hell of a point.
Oh, God.
But am I right?
You're always right, Carl.
What do you make of this teenage thug, Carl, Mickey Carroll, who spent 4 months in jail and he's won 9.7 million on the lottery? Is that justice? When you think of all the good people that are going hungry? And there's a lad there and he's won...
Did he buy the ticket before he
9.7.
went in?
No, I think he bought it once he'd come out.
So he's done his time.
He's done his time.
Fair enough then, he's been punished.
Yeah.
Right? He's bought a ticket. He's had a lot of bad luck.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's having a bit of good luck.
Good luck to him.
Next one.
Are you concerned that now he's got all that money he could turn into like a sort of mastermind villain? You know, like a James Bond style villain? He's got a criminal streak, we know that. Is that a concern for you? I mean,
Well, we
imagine
don't.
that he could build some kind of underwater
We
fortress.
don't, with my lawyer's hat on, we don't know that.
Yeah, well. Well, he'd have to prove that he didn't have a criminal streak. I'd say that you've been in jail for 4 months.
Yeah, but sometimes people are bad because they haven't got any money, so he might be
Interesting
an
point.
angel of gold now. Or whatever the saying is.
1 in 5 children aged between 11 and 16 go on booze binge sessions at least once a week. That's terrifying news, isn't it?
Kids, they know too much now.
Yeah.
You
Compared to you, yeah.
Despair.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Listen to this one, right?
Go on.
My dad had me niece in the car, right, running her to school one day, and she was in the back of the car with a mate, and they chatting away about stuff like kids do. And they got onto the topic of one of the mates, who they said, I mean, you've got to remember, niece, this point was probably about 5 or 6, something like that, right? In the back of the car, talking about My Little Pony, whatever it is they play with. Subject changed. Oh, that Lisa in our class, she's a lesbian, isn't she?
Right.
That was that's what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Chatting away about it.
Just openly talking about lesbianism.
And probably, you know, this is the topic that they're talking about in the pub when they're having one. Out drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they might have thought a lesbian was a you know, a funny word or something. You don't necessarily know the ins and outs of it, do they?
It's weird though, isn't it? Because when I was younger at school, you didn't you swore a little bit, but it wasn't like major swear words, and you sort of did a little bit of nicking, but nothing like they get up to now. I mean,
my girlfriend, when she was about 7 or 8, just walked to school with her mum, and she called her a C-U-N. Right?
You are joking.
No, she said, because she thought it was she said she thought it was a big furry animal. So she was being nice, and I remember, where'd you do that? Where'd you do that? Like, just heard it at school. So they might not know what it means.
Well, I tell you, you know, I'm gonna have to use kind of euphemisms here to tell this story, but when I was at school, I learned, you know, the stronger version, it's not the same word, but it's very similar with one letter changed. I'm gonna use twit.
Yeah.
You know the word I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna use the word twit to replace it, right? And I went round...
You think they're twat?
Yeah.
Alright.
That's what I'm thinking of. And, so can I say it? Am I allowed to say it?
No, it's weird though, because
No, hang on,
some people from Cornwall use that like saying twit. So, if people listen in Cornwall...
Do you know what a twit is? A pregnant goldfish.
Well...
Well, I learned the stronger version of twit.
Yeah.
Twat. For those that aren't sure. I learned this at school when I was like 10 or whatever, and I didn't know what it meant. I thought it was just a stronger version of twit.
Yeah.
I thought it was just if you were really annoyed with someone because they were a real twit.
Because I is worse than I.
Exactly, apparently. So, you know, Carl would be a twit. And so I started using this at home because I didn't realise what it meant. I started using this at home, oh, you twit, you're a twit, and saying it to my dad, you're a twit, you know, but not saying twit.
Yeah.
And my dad didn't know what it meant either.
That's great!
I couldn't believe. So he started using it as well, right? So then we'd be driving in the car, he'd be saying to my mum, you stupid twit. Saying to my mum, you don't pull over, you're gonna bum it, you twat. Saying this. Then I learned at school from Mark Johnson what it really meant.
Yeah.
Stopped using it, obviously finding out it was quite an offensive word.
Yeah.
I didn't want to bring it up to my dad. I didn't want to sit my dad down and say, Dad, you know that word we've been saying?
Yeah.
You know what it means? So now, to this day, I've never brought it up with him. So we'll be driving, you know, I go home for Christmas, we'll be driving around, he'll be calling my mum that word. Left, right and centre. I think she knows. I think she's just embarrassed. Or she's just upset and she knows what it means. She goes, why does he keep calling me this terrible word? But he's the only one, I think, in our family who doesn't know what it means. No one's got the guts to say, I don't know whether I should tell him this Christmas.
What a twat.
I know. In China, you can only have one child, can't you? Is that something you feel we should bring in here?
Yeah, I think we've got to, I don't know about one kid. I just sort of concentrate on who can have a kid.
Okay.
As opposed to, you know, if someone's got a load of money and they're good at looking after kids, let Madonna have as many as she wants. But if it's someone who's...
So social engineering you want to do?
Yeah, but hold on though.
Well, what you said then, if you're bringing him into a poor family, what's the point? What good is that for anyone? It's not good for the people who've had the kids.
So who's deciding who's allowed to have how many kids? Are you deciding?
I was brought into the poor family, wasn't I?
What?
I was brought into a poor family.
Yeah, no, I'm talking really poor.
So, third world?
No.
What, poorer than that? Poorer than no money at all?
No, somewhere in the middle again. You've gone too far the other way.
Okay,
why has it always got to go the other way?
Cornwall.
I just mean like the people who I've told you about on the estate sometimes, who had that one who chased cars and stuff. He wasn't happy. They didn't care if he was there or not. What's the point?
Right, so hang on, so let's imagine that Ricky and I are husband and wife, we've come in, right? What's your questions to us to establish whether we are allowed to have a couple of kids?
Hello.
Thanks for coming.
Me and my husband, we can't have children.
Why not?
Because he's got no sperm at all.
Okay.
He had one sperm and it was ridiculous, it was awful. It just came out like a dead anchovy.
Right,
and you're meant to have 300 million, the tiny ones, and he had one big one, it was horrible, I had to pull it out, it was like a leech. And also, I haven't got a vagina, so there's no place
completely
to put
smooth down there, like an action man.
Yeah, it was just that. I don't know, but we love children, and we wondered if we could have a child.
What do you do for a living? What do you do? What's your work?
I'm a rapist.
Right.
And I dispose of the bodies.
Right. Well, fill out this form.
I should have clarified, a rapist murderer.
Yeah. Fill out the form.
He does it in the wrong order as well, I must say. So, no, number of times I've disposed of the body, said I hadn't made that one.
I know. Just wondered what else you need to know about us. Because even though
that was our little joke, by the way. He doesn't rape, and
I work in an office.
He works in an office in the town.
But yeah,
I'm a housewife.
She's a housewife.
I'm making a little nest for when we have we adopt a little a little child.
We don't earn a great deal of money, but we're good parents.
We're very good parents.
What's that based on? How have you
Well, we're
managed to
good
come up with-
people, you know. I mean, aside from a few naughty jokes.
We're God-fearing people. We believe that God is watching all of us, and we believe in the Old Testament.
And sometimes he tells us to kill and rape.
Yeah, sometimes he does. Yeah, particularly. We've stoned a couple of homosexuals this week alone.
We're joking again.
We're
of
joking
course.
again.
Or
We
just a joke,
don't.
just
We
a
don't
joke.
believe in God. We're from an atheist and believe that our time on earth is all we have, and then when we die, we become worms meat.
Right. Well, you filled out.
But
the
we've
form.
already painted the back bedroom. That's ready for the little child.
We painted it black
Yeah.
because we want our child to be a Satanist. Joking again.
Little joke
Joking
from
again.
us. Little
We want him to be an accountant,
Yeah.
gay accountant.
Some would say the same thing. Only joking, of course.
I think there's too much in society where people are pressured to be heterosexual, so we're going to try and make ours a homosexual. So we don't care whether you get a homosexual or a heterosexual, but I tell you, by the time he's 14, he will be as queer as the Ace of Spades.
Right. So you filled out the form.
Fill out the form.
Yeah. We'll pop that in, get it processed.
Right.
Okay, but what kind of questions are you going to ask us?
None really.
No, so
It's just my job.
you're happy. You're
My
happy with
job
us.
to pass the forms on.
We've passed the interview.
Because that's the sort of world we live in now.
God! We don't want a child. We don't want a child, actually.
I think you'll be enjoying it. This is something that's got sent through to us. I'm not quite sure who by, but thanks very much for it. It's a story that was in the press recently. I'm not going to give you the headline. I think it gives away too much. I think, Carl, you'll be particularly interested in it. A farmer in eastern China.
There we go.
Basically, he paid £1,300, or the Chinese equivalent, to marry a woman, and basically she refused to sleep with him after the wedding, complaining that she felt unwell. 6 days after the ceremony, she tried to run away, but the farmer followed her. He found her in some neighbouring town. They grappled together. The bogus bride's false breasts fell off.
And he's hard.
It
Not his hard up his old tricks.
It wasn't his hard.
Trying to do another show in Chinese this time.
But it was a man.
Oh
And
no!
apparently, it was an arranged marriage. I don't know who sorted that out.
Did he get his money back?
I think.
Because I think men are cheaper than women to marry in China. I think on this.
But yeah, I mean, you've got to be pretty simple not to realise that the person you're marrying's a bloke, surely.
Well, no. If he didn't have a little look, what was you know, in the back of the store? He just saw the shop window, sort of lovely little Chinese lady there.
Yeah.
Right. You know.
The lovely hair, real breasts.
There's lumps where the breasts should be.
Yeah.
I can only assume they are breasts.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not, you see women walking around going, what are they, breasts, or are they, stealing sort of grapefruits? No, they're probably, but
Wouldn't there have been a lot? I mean, wouldn't there be quite a sort of long initiation period when they
Not if it was,
first get introduced and so on?
not if he put his money down. He came and they said, right, I want a bird quickly. Here's a grand.
Sure.
Get me one. They're not going to say, do you want real breasts, or they're just going to assume.
Sure.
Yeah, here's one.
Yeah,
Here's a little Chinese.
But who is
lady.
he paying? Where is he buying this woman from?
From the Chinese lady shop.
From the Chinese lady shop.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
there's one in Chinatown, I think.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
not really a town.
Not exactly a town, more Novelty Street.
And the roads are very slippery.
Very sticky.
I tell you what, though.
What?
I was looking at their menus when I was walking home. They don't waste anything, do they?
Why?
Duck's tongue on the menu.
Yeah, but it's better when you say it. Alright, duck's tongue. A duck's tongue, really?
You sure that wasn't the proprietor?
Sexuality. What do you think of gay and lesbian issues?
Each to their own.
Absolutely.
I mean, I had one working for me. Right?
One. You had one, yeah? Good.
Gay fella. Yeah.
Do you have a name, or...?
Yeah. But again, it's like how Doctor said Elephant Man's in. I'd sort of say, is gay fella in? They go, yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's just quicker. Problem with him was, right, his gay stuff that he got to, whatever, each to their own and that.
Like what? What sort of gay stuff
Well, what they do stuff, don't they? But this lad, he used to always come in late because he'd stay out late. And that's what they all do. They're always tired. That's what they do. So,
Okay.
gays, the gays are all right.
Gays alright, are they? Good.
I've never bought a suit since I was like 11. Right, I went to my brother's wedding. That's the last time I wore a suit.
Right.
Really? And you can't get anywhere near it now, can you?
Can't get into that.
No.
anymore. That was a good day.
What was it? What sort of suit was it?
It was like a sort of a grey silver one.
Excellent.
Quite flary.
Nice. Well, try and go for something
grey
similar.
silver one. Just think that with your little round head, what did that look like?
I looked alright.
Like he'd landed from the... just landed on
It's
it.
like, who's the
They walk among
spaceman?
us.
I didn't really need to wear a suit either, because I hardly went into the church. I was in the car park, right? And it's when my brother was in the army, and he had a Ford Capri with one of them horns that goes... And
you just sat there.
Why didn't he come in his tank?
I just sat in that, doing that all day, and the vicar was getting well annoyed with me.
What, when the service was on?
Yeah. It was
Brilliant.
driving everyone
Well,
up the wall.
were you just allowed to do what you wanted when you were growing up? Like Nelson Muntz from The Simpsons? Were you just allowed, didn't matter, was there any discipline? You didn't have teachers, you didn't, why didn't someone come out and...
I got a couple of good hidings off my dad a couple of times.
What for?
Just being mopey most of the time. If I had a strop on, he'd hate that.
He'd go out and burn something down or nick something, but don't wander around with your head down.
well-
Didn't he smack you for not liking a castle once?
Yeah.
No, what's that? What's that?
Went to Carnarvon the other day, and I was bored. I was at that age when I just wanted to go in an arcade, and my dad was saying, come and see the castle, you know, there's history here, and I still don't like castles. It's one of them things that, again, just too far back to sort of even think about people living in them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I was just like, look, it's a wreck, you know, knock it down, flatten the thing.
Sure.
And I was being really mopey.
Isn't that great?
And it's weird, because now, like, my mum and dad have retired and gone to Wales.
Yeah.
And now and again he texts me there, and every time we get to the point where he gave me a clout, he goes, "You're getting flashbacks, son."
Yeah. Well, it's a sobering lesson for you.
Yeah.
You're not on the British Heritage Committee anymore, are you? This is the National Trust land. Tarmac it. The biggest car park in Britain, for Christ's sake. How important do you think education is?
I haven't got that much. I'm alright, aren't
I mean, any form of education. I don't just mean that you can learn things. I
I? You
mean,
can know too much though, can't you? And then you worry about stuff.
What sort of thing? What do you mean?
Just stuff, like, if you watch the news, you start going, oh, there's a war on and that, don't watch it. It's like, no worries, do you know what I mean? You got Einstein,
Yeah.
he knew loads, look at the state of him.
What do you mean? Look at the state.
Well, he looks a bit of a mess, doesn't he?
Right.
Whereas, I don't know, look at a caveman or whatever, with no worries. Fairly healthy looking, good hair. You know what I mean? They're not bald, they're not stressed out.
Because you've lost a lot of hair. Do you think that's from all this knowledge that's shooting around in your head?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. I could do without, you know, some of the knowledge I've got and that.
I think we need some evidence, though. I think we want to know some of the knowledge you've got.
Like what? What do you want to know?
Like, I remember talking to you about the nature of infinity once, and there's a lovely model that shows the nature of infinity, where they say an infinite amount of chimps, an infinite amount of typewriters will type the complete works of Shakespeare, and you couldn't grasp that. You couldn't.
Wouldn't
grasp.
happen. Wouldn't happen. I think you know it wouldn't happen, but you say it would to annoy me.
No, because it works by definition, because it's the nature of infinity.
It doesn't matter.
If infinite means if they did everything at random, it's just random, forever and ever, eventually they type everything.
It wouldn't.
They've checked. What do you mean it wouldn't?
It wouldn't. There'd always be mistakes.
There will be mistakes. They'd do the complete works of Shakespeare an infinite amount of times.
Yeah, but do you mean they'd actually do it from start to finish? Or
Yeah.
chapter? They might get a chapter done. You go, right, well done.
It's
But-
start out. No.
File that.
No, there's no feedback to it. It's just that everything being done, they will eventually do everything every time. They'll get it wrong an infinite amount of times. They'll get every letter wrong an infinite amount of times.
Say monkey.
Doesn't matter whether it's an infinite amount of monkeys.
Well, how does the other one know what the first one did?
It doesn't matter. They've chosen monkeys not because they're thinking about it to take thought out of it. They want it to be random.
Yeah, but when they hand over, when
Who
they
hands
shift
over? What do you mean they shift?
The monkey. The monkey's done whatever shift pattern they're on.
They're not on a shift pattern. Infinity. You work from now forever. That's
One
not-
monkey.
What difference does it make if it's one monkey for an infinite amount of time or an infinite amount of monkeys?
Because you can believe it if it was one monkey doing it. Because he's going to get better, isn't he, as time goes on.
It's nothing to do with their consciousness. It's nothing to do with them thinking about it. What do you mean he'd get better?
It'd get better if he's doing it on his own. If it's just the one monkey, he knows what he's done.
It's nothing to do with knowing what you've done. It's just a random process to show the nature of infinity.
With no errors. It wouldn't happen. Seriously, people, I think you're winding me up on that one. It wouldn't happen. And it hasn't happened.
Because we haven't had an infinite amount of monkeys.
We've had years though, haven't we? There hasn't been one publication for monkey. They've been around longer than us. That's what I'm saying.
They've been around longer than us.
You're laughing, but I think you know it doesn't happen.
Do you feel that life was better in, say, the 1950s?
I don't know, I wasn't around.
So but you understand what it was like in those days? You've seen Happy Days.
I don't know, people always say, don't they? Old people always say, it's a better life in the 50s. And he's like, yeah, it was for them. Of course it was for them. They're old now. Being old isn't great, is it? So you're just happy with your lot. I suppose I was happiest in about 1984.
Quite a specific year.
Why? Why was that?
It was just I was free and happy.
How old were you?
I don't know.
He's just counting on his fingers now.
12.
Right, okay.
And it was just good.
So the happiest days of your life were between the age of 12 and 13?
Yeah, it was good. I had the world ahead of me.
Little did you know your hair was going to fall out and you were going to whinge every minute of the day.
I had my bike. I like messing about on my bike. You had your mates. I had a pet magpie.
So you were probably the teenager that you eventually hate?
Probably.
Were you a good lad, law-abiding?
I wasn't bad. I just sort of, just potted about. I mean, when people talk about what was on the telly back then, I don't have that much memory of it because I was always out. I was always playing out.
What were you doing when you were out?
Just playing about, just like on a bike or...
Just riding in a circle endlessly through blizzards,
I loved it.
Rain, sleet, hail.
I never seemed to be in. I was always... When everyone always goes, where were you when Band-Aid was happening? I was always out on my bike. And everything was like...
you and McGregor?
A memory's always sort of like coming in for some orange and looking at the telly and seeing Princess Diana's getting married, and my mum says, have you seen this? And I'm going, oh, I'm going out on my bike. I was always doing that. The only time I was in my house...
This is why you don't know anything, because you never stopped.
Yeah, but this is what being a kid's about.
But
that's
all
what
the
I mean, being
information
free.
you have, Carl, is as though you've gleaned it as you raced by on a bike. It's almost like, every piece of information you have.
Your hair blowing in the wind. Carl, your hair will blow out one day. Oh, don't talk stupid, ma'am.
So yeah, 12 to 13 was good.
But you see...
And it was all downhill from then, was it?
13, you're a teenager then, aren't you? Life got tough.
Yeah, how did it get tough?
Just straight away when I was 13, my mum was like, oh, it's your 13th birthday, you're a teenager now.
Right.
And she gave us a quid to go and get a cake to celebrate it. Went to the supermarket, got a cake, and I just thought, I don't like the look of this. Don't like the look of the way the future is here.
On his 13th birthday!
Well, you were buying a cake. What did you see at the supermarket?
It was kind of like, I don't know, I suddenly felt grown up. I didn't like it.
But I think you were always about 58, really, with your outlook.
Well, yeah, my mum always said I was old. She said I was an old baby. She said I could frown before I could walk. So they always had a bit of a worry look on my face. Didn't say much, just always listened. My eyes moved about more than I did. Just sat there looking around, looking stressed.
My eyes moved about more than I did. Oh dear, couldn't walk. Well, I can't walk, but I'll try and get a bit of movement in my face. It's a workout, a baby workout. Oh, babies, well, if you can't walk, what about your face? Let your face do the walking.
It sounds like that horror film. It sounds like Pilkington's Baby.
Yeah.
Just you lying there in your cot.
I didn't like all the stuff that's set up for you. Like, me mum tried to send me to, like, a nursery. I said, no, I'm not having this.
Just like that.
I said when I'm older and I've got to go, I'll go, but let's leave out this bit. And she said, alright.
I love the fact he could reason with her. I love him, he's 3 years old with a pipe. She's going, you're going to nursery. She goes, I think not, mum.
I mean, kids don't play out, do they? Kids, parents are scared to let the kids play out, and that's why the streets are dangerous now. Because no one's playing out on the streets. Whereas when I was a kid, everyone was out on the streets were safer. Because there was more people knocking about.
Right.
Let the kids play out.
It must be like a constant, like a Larry painting, his front garden, do you know what I mean? Just loads of people just walking around.
There was never any problems. I was sort of taken away by some fella.
What?
Whoa.
No, I was playing about in the garden.
Yeah.
But my dad's mate, Tony, he did tiling with him. He drove past. And he saw me looking a bit fed up, so he just leant over, picked me up, took me to the pub. Now, the thing is, there wasn't panic. People weren't going, oh, God, where's Karl gone?
He's out.
Just...
How old were you?
He's down the pub.
Yeah,
He's 4 years old, yeah. Well, he's only having a...
He's down the pub with Tony, probably playing darts.
Yeah, I was about 3 or 4.
Sorry, so some bloke drives by who happens to be a friend of your dad's, thinks that baby looks grumpy.
Yeah.
I'm taking him down to the pub.
That's what it was
Tony,
like.
you bringing a baby to the pub? Yeah, I might do, yeah, we're all bringing ours. Alright, see you later, mate.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Whereas now they go, the baby's gone. There's a big full-on panic going
Yeah,
on.
but I think it says more about your parents that they didn't do that. They looked over the back car and you were gone. Some bloke's driving off in a van. They're just going, oh, well, doesn't Princess Diana look lovely? This is absurd. So what happened when you got down the pub?
I just was there for a bit, and then...
For a bit, just had a game of pool.
Then my dad came in. He was like, oh, there you are.
Oh, there you are! I love that! Where's my baby? I'm just gonna have a quick pint. Oh, there you are. Alright, mate.
So, yeah, I think things were better back. Maybe it's that thing that I don't appreciate what I've got. But to me, being English isn't anything that great.
Really?
Why not?
Because
it's just what I've been dealt with.
But what would you, I mean, I know you know nothing about the world.
You've travelled nowhere. You've seen nothing.
Yeah. But if you could be any nationality, what would you be and why?
Probably be Italian.
Okay. Why?
Well, just, yeah, I like the idea of it. I like Italians are alright.
Where would you live? Rome?
I probably wouldn't want to be in the middle of Rome. It's too much hassle.
Have you been to Rome?
Yeah, it's nice to visit and stuff, but it's just I wouldn't want to live there. You've got to get paperwork done and that if you just want to put a picture up, because everything's old. Everything's listed.
He's only been Italian about 3 minutes and he's already slacking it
He's
off.
already
No,
whinging.
but I like Rome.
Yeah.
It's good. A lot of old stuff.
Why have you chosen Italy? I'm interested to know why of all the countries you've chosen Italy.
I was a late comer to pasta.
But it's won you round.
I like it now. It's like one of my favourite things I have. Which there isn't really anything like that in England. That even though
well, except pasta.
Pasta's
No,
almost
but it's-
exactly like it.
Yeah,
but it's not.
we've got pasta, haven't
It's
we?
not ours though, is it? And we
No,
don't know
we've
how
got-
to eat it.
What do you mean we don't know how to eat it?
We do it all wrong.
You stick it up your arse again.
Look at me, I know how to fucking eat it.
No, but what I mean is, if you saw a proper Italian and they saw what we did to pasta, they would not be happy.
What are we doing wrong? Tell me what we're doing wrong
Well, I
with
don't
pasta.
know that, otherwise we wouldn't be doing
Well,
it wrong.
how do you know
we're doing it
how do you
wrong?
know
I've
they
just
don't?
heard we do it wrong. It's like how we have the coffee at all the wrong times. I ordered a cappuccino somewhere and the Italian fella said you shouldn't be having that now, it's a breakfast coffee.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Before 12 o'clock,
Yeah, but I was having it at like 11:15 at night.
Oh,
It looks
wow.
like I
Well,
was
that's
mental.
absurd. How are you going to get to sleep with a lovely cup of coffee?
Yeah, that's
Well,
a
I
good
don't
point.
sleep anyway,
You
do
shouldn't
I?
drink coffee anyway at night. There was cappuccino
stupid.
or
No wonder he was
frappuccino
right to say
or mocha. Doesn't matter. Don't drink coffee after about 4 in the afternoon anyway, full stop.
So, hang on. So you love pasta, but you're not eating it right, so you'd like to be Italian in order to be able to eat pasta correctly, even though you enjoy the pasta you eat.
What do you feel being Italian is, and what's
It's just,
attractive
it's
to
just
being...
very sort of, it's a relaxed lifestyle. Whenever you go to Italy, everyone's sat outside a cafe. It doesn't matter what sort of person you
Oh,
are.
that's all you do now with your spare time is
Yes.
sit outside a cafe.
But they get more respect over there. For
Why?
it. It's like, it's okay to do that. There's older people sat outside cafes who do nothing.
I
and it's
love the
just
fact that he
they're
wants to
probably
be
retired.
Italian so he can sit outside a cafe and get more respect than he does now sitting outside a cafe.
No, but everyone's rushing about here. People have like colder coffee. They have frappuccinos here because they haven't got time to have a hot coffee. It's like they've got a coffee with ice in so I can neck it. Get it down my neck and get on with my day. Relax, enjoy your coffee. I don't understand the rush.
You never enjoy anything. You said that you don't enjoy anything. You don't enjoy a coffee. When you're having a coffee, you're probably going, oh, I don't know if I can enjoy it yet, in retrospect. And tomorrow I'll go, I like that coffee yesterday.
But the reason you enjoy Italy is because when you were there, you're on holiday. That's why you're able to chill out and
No,
relax.
no.
When you say it's old people sat in some little Sicilian village. Of course they got no money.
Here, I went to the Salvation Army.
Right.
Why?
Because it's nice.
What do you mean?
You can get toast and a cup of tea for £1.
Go, you little skinflint.
Right.
You little roundy
There's
heady
nothing
Scrooge.
skinflinty about that. That's just that should be the going rate, Steve. I'm surprised I haven't seen you in there, to be honest. But the thing is,
Where is it?
now just near Camden.
What is it? Is it like old people?
A lot of old people, mainly old people. And this is what I'm saying. These are people who are old and they sat in a cafe, but they don't get any respect. People are walking past and they don't want to go in. The way you reacted when I said I was in the Salvation Army, that's the reaction they get. Yet an old Italian person, they looked after better.
Well, it's certainly true they look after their older families, don't they?
Right,
They do
and
respect
that's
their
all I'm
family.
saying. Whereas, I mean, it's a lovely place, Salvation Army. Every old fella in there's got a tie on.
Yeah.
They make an effort.
That chokes me when I see an old boy still put a shirt and tie on. He's 90. He's like been through hardship, and yet on a Sunday they're still shining their shoes. And you know what I mean?
I mean, you sometimes can't even bother to put your trousers on.
I know. Well, I've got an elasticated waistband,
Yeah.
and they're still fiddling with braces and buttons.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that's what I like about Italians and that. There's a lot of.
So you want to be
respect.
Italian because when you're old, you can sit outside a cafe and get more respect than you do here.
Yeah, look at the old people in this country. They never look happy, do they? Really. Most of the time, when you see them walking around, they go to pot. No one's keeping an eye on them.
Well, it's an important thing, isn't it? That my mum, this is when she was about 60, 65. There was a neighbour who was like 85, 90, and again completely alone. And my mum used to go on there every day. Do you want any shopping? Do it, right? She was good for her. She was like her witness in the world, you know, to her existence. But I remember calling her once, and she'd come back. I said, "What have you been doing?" She went, "Oh, I've been round so and so." So I went, "All right." She went, "Oh, she won't die, Rick." Like she's helping her, but she's thinking this is getting silly now. You were meant to go years ago here. I was like,
Well, that's the problem, you know. If you get pally with an old person,
Yeah.
then you could be stuck with them for years.
and having to do stuff, you know, that's what you don't want to do, isn't it? You meet an old fella, and then you've got to start popping in his sort of piles or whatever when he can't do them himself. You know, what do you do if you're?
It depends how friendly you are, though. I mean, I'm just talking about someone you meet at the bus stop, as opposed to popping the piles back in. How does that happen? Jesus. Just the ones on the estate I grew up on. As soon as he got to a certain age, there was Mrs. Knowles who went mental. One day she seemed fine, next day she was chucking cans in everyone's garden. You could just hear her coming. Which was weird. Aren't you? Now you brought up weird people. There was a fella called Shorts Man. Right?
It's so pedestrian. I love that.
Shorts man wore some shorts.
Now, what I like, yeah, he did, but they were really short. They were that sort where, you know, it's almost pointless having them on.
What do you mean?
They were just, you know, like shorts now for blokes. They go up to your knees, don't they? There's no chance. There's no accident happening there. There's nothing going to pop out.
Yeah.
No.
But Shorts Man, he liked it. He liked the fact that happened, and he used to walk with big strides to sort of help the chance along. So that he knew with the big strides and the short shorts,
Yeah.
they were going to pop out.
Did you ever see it pop out?
Yeah.
Why were you
everyone
looking at
did.
the shorts?
Just because it was like playing Buckaroo. It was like, when are they going to pop out?
But what?
It's just what happened.
So, right, but Shorts man, so he was an exhibitionist. He basically wanted people to see his veg.
Yeah. And they were out more than they were in. I mean, they had a tan. Right? Now the thing is, what we like in England, I think we like that. We like local characters.
The eccentric.
Yeah.
Eccentric's that's very British. Eccentric, yeah.
I'm glad I grew up round there with all them people. 'Cause
So
they're
am I.
interesting. It's news now, innit? Sometimes I think, don't tell me, don't want to know. Just get on with it. Whoever's job that is, get on with it.
Yeah.
Why am I being told about it? When I've got a problem in my job, no one else knows. No one helps me out and goes, well, I've got an opinion for him.
No.
This might help him. No one helps me. But I'm being bombarded by everyone else's hassle. They love talking, actually. That's what the English do. Talking, but they never finalise it. They love just being in the meeting room, talking, saying, yeah, we could do this, we could do that. I'm the only one in that room not getting paid. Everyone else is on a wage. I'm there looking at my watch thinking, right, I've been here for an hour and nothing's been sorted. They're looking, thinking we can drag this out for another half hour, get us to lunch. That's what annoys me. They're all sat there just pushing bullshit around the room like dung beetles. I'm sick of it. And that's what the English do. And it's a shame, because I don't think they used to be like that. I wish everybody just sort of kept to themselves more. Like, you know, certain animals do. You just get on with it. It's like an old-fashioned way.
What animals keep
Well,
themselves?
any animals keep themselves themselves.
Like what?
I've said loads of things.
What animals keep themselves?
Badgers.
Why did they keep themselves?
No, they just whenever you've seen them just sort of wandering about a roadside, they're on their own.
Right.
They're not sort of.
What are they doing?
In pairs. I don't know. Most of the time they're dead. I've seen more dead badgers than alive ones. I've never seen a live badger.
I don't know what his point was. So that's why they're one alone and two getting on with it. I love it. I love that.
It started off as some kind of poetic analogy. I don't know what that was.
We talk about disability in the show. What are your views on the disabled?
What sort of disabilities?
Well, what sort are they?
Well, as soon as you mention disabilities, I'm thinking Elephant Man, rather than just in a wheelchair.
Okay.
Because they get looked after, they get ramps and that, don't they? They're all right.
They're loving it. They love those ramps, don't they?
No, but
they can't get enough of those ramps. In and out of libraries like nobody's business.
There's different. I mean, you know that I'm into freaks and that. No, again, I'm not. You know, it seems like I'm just having a go all the time. But they fascinate me.
Like, what do you mean? What is a freak to you, though?
Something that you look at and you go, you know, you do a double take. Steve Merchant. Just odd stuff.
Right. Okay. Like what though?
When was it when they used to have sideshows and that, and they'd take them out like the pinheads and all that? Nothing's changed, has it? You know what I mean? People still like to see a two-headed kid or whatever.
Who likes to see a two-headed? That's what you mean, isn't it? You like to see a two-headed kid? There's no such thing.
You're having a laugh.
No, there's not a two-headed kid. He's got that book. Is it true you carry this book round with you?
This is a book, right, of the 50 sort of weirdest things in the world.
50 weirdest?
It's a rundown, right? It's a rundown, it's a little chart.
Yeah.
Right? At number 50, don't know if you can get this, two-headed fella. That's at number 50. So what's at number 1?
It's not two heads.
Of course it's two heads.
It's not two heads.
Can they see that or what?
Yeah.
What do you mean it's not two heads?
Well, it's not. I mean, it's weird. I'll give you. I mean, that's not a normal look. I will give you that. I mean, I don't think he could be sorted out with the salon, but it's not strictly two heads, is it? But I don't know if you like it. That's good then. So
right. Well, that's at like number 50 and that. There's loads of stuff in.
Do you want to run through some of your favourite freaks with me?
Just got to watch it. It's getting a bit worn out. Some of my favourites, yeah. Just normal lad, yeah. He looks normal there. Just nice little head, nice little haircut and that. Nice top, right?
Yeah.
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 Look at that. 3 legs. 3-legged fella. And he's quite happy with it. The annoying thing is, right? 3 legs.
Yeah.
You know what his job was?
No.
3-legged juggler. What's the point of that?
What do you mean the point of it?
Well, who was his careers advisor there?
What should he have done?
Well, he's got 3 legs, isn't it? So any footballer, whatever, jogger.
A jogger.
You know what I mean?
Oh God.
So you got that in there. He's at number 23.
Oh God.
There's loads of odd diseases. I mean, you were talking about like disabilities and that. Sometimes it's not a disability. Sometimes just people have got weird stuff. There's one here, right? Again, just normal family photo going on. Yeah, everyone's sort of stood around the piano with the little mate who's got that aging disease. I mean, it's not funny, is it? But look at him. Sat around the piano, singing happy birthday for the 8th time that day. Right? Just weird stuff like that. Weird, isn't it?
Oh, God.
It fascinates me. It's not having a go. It's just odd stuff. I like odd stuff. So, is that classed as disabilities?
Well, I'd have thought so.
That's what I think of them then. I mean, what other famous sort of freaks are they?
See, I don't think they even like being called freaks. I think if you're born with an extra leg, and the midwife says, "Well done, Mr. and Mrs. Chalmers, you've given birth to a £9 freak." I think, you know what I mean. The freak isn't a term that I think they use.
Well, how do they break it to them? I mean, do they sort of just slip it in so they go, right, we've got 1 leg out, and here's the other 2? just slip it in that way. How do they do it? Like the Elephant Man.
Yeah.
that's my favourite film. You know that.
Why is it your favourite film, though?
Just because it's a brilliant film. It's sad. It just makes you think, glad I haven't got a big head.
Yeah. You must wake up every day and you're thankful you've got a normal shaped head.
You say that, but it's round.
Perfectly spherical.
What shape should heads be?
Well, it's not perfectly spherical, is it? There's not. Most people don't look like a tennis ball.
So where were we? Elephant Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my favourite film.
See, that wasn't his real name. His name was John Merrick.
But the doctors did use the Elephant Man as the name, so they knew what his problem was before he turned up. Otherwise, you're wasting time looking at filing systems. When they say John Merrick's coming in at 3 and the doctor's like, oh, what's his problem? Wasting time. They go, Elephant Man's in. They go, right, get some more bums in. Do you know what I mean? Fact.
Thomas Jefferson, you know who he is, once observed, a nation as a society forms a moral person, and every member of it is personally responsible for his society. But Jefferson's fellow countryman, as you know, the American writer and intellectual Randolph Bourne, noted some years later, society is one vast conspiracy for carving one into a kind of statue it likes, and then placing it in the most convenient niche it has. So one saying, no, this is why we're moral people. The society is great for us. It turns us into responsible people, okay? And we should love that society and make sure it's perpetuated. But Bourne said, no, it's just a way to mould someone into what it likes and put it into a little box so it can't hurt anyone.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's not, again, it's...
No, both of them are right.
Both of them are right, but they're contradictory.
They're both opinions.
They're certainly opinions.
But I don't know why I am the way I am. It just happens, doesn't it? I don't like killing a fly. No one would stop me if I did. But there's something in me that goes, don't do that.
Right, so this is a very important theory, because you're basically saying, well, you could be saying one of two things. You could be saying that goodness is innate.
Not likely.
No. Or he could be saying that there's a morality that transcends rules and society pressure. Whether or something's legal or not doesn't mean that you have to do it because it's legal, and it doesn't mean you don't. Yeah? Is that the one you meant?
That's what I meant. There was a bit of trouble in our yard the other day.
Right.
Between a wasp and a cricket.
No, the thing is there any point to this at all, or are you just going to tell us you saw?
Are you going to extrapolate some analogy from this?
I think so.
Okay,
yeah,
well, let's see. So there's a wasp.
Yeah, well, so look at the whole scenario. Right?
As you said, sorry, just to clarify, as you said, it was kicking off.
Right, okay.
Scenario.
So you're looking out your window.
No, I'm in the kitchen by the sink.
Yeah.
Washing up. We've got a new sink. We've got a dishwasher as well. But I said, well, I'll use a sink. We paid for it. Let's give it a go.
So you're like a Luddite threatened by the technology. You're thinking your worth will be taken away. Your reason in the world will be taken away by the dishwasher. So you're like, no, Suzanne, we've got a dishwasher, but I am going to carry on. You're going to need me. I want to show I'm needed.
I wanted to use it. It's like, I don't understand that if someone's got a really nice car but they have a chauffeur, drive it. It's yours. Enjoy it. Enjoy your car.
Well,
feel a gear change. Yeah, but you don't drive.
No, I know.
Yeah, so that's alright. But what I'm saying is, I've got a sink, I've got a dishwasher. What am I doing? If I put the dishwasher on, what am I going to do? I'm just going to sit down and do nothing. Probably. Wash up then. Do something useful. I do a better job than the machine does.
Well, get rid of the machine altogether then?
No, because sometimes I might want to go for a walk or something.
Well, why do you go for a walk all the time? It's good for you.
I'd had a walk in the morning. Anyway, so, I'm washing up.
That was all the prelude to the wasp and the cricket story. It better be fucking good to top that.
His life's so complicated. For a man who does nothing at all, right, his life is so complicated.
No, because it's the same thing. The kitchen's fairly new.
Alright, so you're washing up for Christ's sake.
You're using a new sink, the dishwasher's there, it's not doing anything, it's not even plugged in, it's pointless. What's going on?
I'm washing up the few plates.
Right.
The kitchen door's open.
Right.
Suzanne says, oh my god, look at that.
What?
There's a wasp and a cricket having a wrestle. I've never seen it before.
Right.
Wait! Are you sure this wasn't Mexican television and it actually was a sporting
people
event?
dressed up.
Yeah.
So they're there wrestling, and I was like, "Well, stop them then." So
Stop! Whoa! You don't interfere with fucking Rosa Parks. Why are you interfering with a wasp in a cricket?
because one, I didn't even know they didn't get on, to be honest.
So this is much bigger metaphor than black and white.
Because listen,
this is more important than apartheid and segregation.
I didn't even know they didn't get on, to be honest. Because they were sort of wrestling. I said, and my hands were wet, so I couldn't do anything. I always overdo it with the fairy liquid.
Yeah, sure.
So she's there. I say, separate them.
Poor Suzanne!
Now, so she uses a tea towel, flicks them.
Clever. Good
Right.
thinking.
The wasp goes its own way. The cricket's sort of jumping about a bit.
But who was fighting who?
So I'm sort of saying that is really weird, because wasps are changing quicker than anything else that I keep my eye on.
Okay, well that's just your theory and it's not based on
Well,
anything.
I've told you a couple of years back I saw one eating chicken. They shouldn't be doing it. So anyway, so now they're causing trouble with a cricket.
Whoa, how do you know it was the wasp's fault? This is prejudice. Why do you think it was the wasp's fault? What if the cricket would have started it? What if the cricket's got a society that go, we hate wasps, we hate their stripes. We hate them. If they come here, fight them. If everyone comes down here, fight them. How do you know it wasn't the cricket that started that?
Well, I suppose at that time I didn't, but since...
Oh,
I don't
subsequent
know.
information's
Oh,
come
okay,
through.
sorry.
Okay,
So
this is
anyway,
like
Columbo, isn't it?
yeah.
So I saw all that, we broke it up, the cricket was sort of shaking a bit.
Definitely not! Definitely not!
It was shaking a little bit.
Yeah.
So I sort of prodded it, put a little leaf over it because it was a hot day. Thought I'd put a leaf there so it doesn't get overheated.
I love
I'll
this,
keep an eye
like
on
it's
it.
done the marathon. It's got a little, it's got Mars on the leaf, written on the leaf, and now it's just walking over with a little medal.
So Suzanne, I'd leave it for a bit.
Leave
Get
it.
on.
What did
About
you
half
say?
an hour, about left it for half an hour.
What did Suzanne want to do? She wanted to interfere, did she? What did she want to do? Just sort of like...
No, she just sort of said, leave it, stop messing with it. It's probably a little bit knocked out, a little bit stunned.
Sure, let's
Right.
get on with our lives, she said. Yeah.
So I put the leaf on it.
You've got in too much fairy liquid. Why don't we use the dishwasher?
We go-
Cost us 400 quid, you dopey bald cunt.
So we go off, and half an hour later, I get back in. I said I'm going to go and see the
Where'd you
cricket.
go? Where'd you go?
Just for a walk.
But hold on, why didn't you put the dish in the dishwasher and go for a walk? I don't understand. So now now as a dishwasher sitting there bone idle, you're washing up when you could be walking, and then you're still
Well, it's
walking.
a good job I didn't go for a walk though, wasn't it? Because how would that have turned out?
That fight,
I don't know.
there would have just been a
So
pool of
anyway,
blood on your back door.
So I've
Porch.
been out, back in, have a look. Cricket's still there. Noticed one of its legs gone.
Oh.
Don't know if the wasp did that or the tea towel flick.
Or it was already disabled, and that's why the wasp thought this is an easy one. What if the wasp was helping it?
It wasn't, no, honestly.
But what
It
if
was,
it's going,
it was
excuse
such a
me, Mr. Wasp,
commotion.
because we're such friends and humans don't understand us and anyone interfered will definitely don't understand us, right? He's not an entomologist,
Well,
right?
this is when I got the computer out,
Right,
had a look, and it's a, what was it called? I
brilliant.
can't remember. What happened is, the wasp apparently does this a lot, and it stings them in the head.
Right, not this particular. There wasn't like a little profile of this particular wasp.
Yeah, yeah.
On a kind of
It's
police
just
website.
an incident that
Just
happens a
generally
lot
happens within
between
wasps, yeah.
wasps and crickets.
Right.
So it stung it in the head, and what happens is, it's that whole thing that we've talked about before, where it lays an egg.
Right.
So I was sort of having a look, seeing if I could see any sort of holes in its head, and it just kept sort of moving its one leg, like, oh, I can't handle this. So
What do you mean it's moving its one leg?
it was sort of just moving its one leg quite slowly, like it's just come
It's
out
only got
from
one
an
leg, but it's
operation.
lost one leg, you said?
Yeah, it's lost one.
Yeah, it's moving 5 legs slowly.
No, it's one big one.
We've got one big leg.
One big leg at the back now. It's normally got 2 that it uses to jump.
Oh, I see, so, okay.
So it's
Right.
only got one. It's sort of like, oh, it looks groggy.
Is it not a grasshopper if it's is it not, what colour was it? Is it like,
Sort of beige.
oh, it's probably a cricket, yeah.
So anyway,
It's important.
So you were worried that crickets aren't aware of the dangers of wasps. You did a bit of leafleting amongst the cricketing community.
I just had a look online and saw that, it's a popular thing that happens. It's sort of like a bit of a mugging. He said you can leave them for about half an hour. They normally come round and they don't know they've had an egg put in their head. But
There's no way it said leave them for half an hour and they come round, they don't have an egg put in. There's no way it said
Well,
that.
he said they're normally stunned for about half hour.
Have you had an egg put in your head?
Fucking ostrich egg, by the way. It's coming out the top.
So anyway, I picked it up, I placed it under a little tree, I said it's in the shade again, no wasps can see it there, let's just leave it.
But you've just left that cricket to now die in agony when that maggot goes round his head and comes out a wasp and leaves the carcass.
Well, this is when Suzanne came up and said it wasn't moving. I sorted it.
What do you mean?
sorted it.
She sorted it.
What did you want to do? What did you mean?
Well, I said, what do you mean you sorted it? She said, oh, it's best if I don't tell you.
What, sorry. But,
She said she sorted it.
Wait. Do you think that we're in the mafia and we're being wiretapped? Say what happened.
No, well, she just said she sorted it, and I said, what, sorted what? Because I'd forgotten about it at that point, I was painting. And she said the cricket.
Right, what do you think she meant by sorted it?
Well, by the look on her face, the way she said it, I've known her for long enough, so I know that she meant it's not good news.
Yeah, so what happened?
So from that, I took for granted she means...
Say it!
I've stopped it being... it's no longer in misery.
So what do you mean?
What?
What did she do?
She crushed its head. Because she said it was moving
What,
about
specifically just the head? She just crushed the head?
with a stone.
She got a tiny head-shaped stone and...
Squashed it. Because that's where all the action is, isn't it? So she said it was too cruel watching it, sort of shaking about with its one leg and stuff. You had to kill it.
I imagine I had this vision that one day Suzanne just having to say to his parents,
I've sorted it.
I had to put him out of his misery.
What?
I just couldn't bear to see the twitching
like to know,
anymore.
do you?
No, you didn't like to know, but
Yeah.
I just took a rock.
Yeah, and just squashed its head. What was in it? There was nothing. Nothing in it. It just caved in.
Was there an egg in it from a
No.
from a
It
wasp?
was like you know when you get a blown egg and then you crush it and there was nothing. Nothing in it at all.
But I just think he seems happier. I'm certainly happier.
I was happier because I'm much happier because he's sort of he's more sensible without the head.
Yeah, we're still happy together, but now we use the dishwasher instead of him washing up when we've already got one that costs £400. What metaphor are you taking from this?
Just the way...
Yeah, so that's at the beginning. There was going to be a point you were going to extrapolate for this, like a fable. So what did you learn from that?
I thought I was doing right at the time. And
Well,
that's
it, isn't it?
important, isn't it?
And is it objective or subjective? You know, one person's evil is another person's good. Some people think abortion is the worst thing you could do. Others think it's a woman's right, and it's a kindness. Some people think that you should never kill under any circumstances. Other people say that some killing is morally right. Again, should an action be judged on its intent or its result? If someone said to you, "Oh, I thought I was doing a good thing," but, you know, they opened the windows and your cat fell out. They thought they didn't even know you had a cat.
Did they knock it, though, or did it just jump out?
It just jumped out.
Well, I'd say it's not my fault. Your cat's daft.
No.
It was hot in here. I've
Right.
opened the window.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not getting the blame for that.
No, that wasn't my point, was it? That if you open the window, right, and they come home and you go, "Oh my God, the cat jumped out and killed itself," you go, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I opened the window because I wanted to let some air in. I was doing a good thing."
So did I know it jumped out?
No.
I'd probably say, you sure they didn't do that before I got here this morning? Did you have the window open?
Right.
I don't think looks like it's been there a while.
So
That's a bit
already,
hard.
you instantly don't want to be culpable for your own actions.
I mean, it is
Hang
your
on a
fault.
minute, it wasn't me who did it.
It is your fault the cat's dead.
yeah, it's an accident, but nevertheless, it's still your
Oh,
fault.
if it's definitely me, yeah, I'd say, yeah, it jumped out. I opened the window because it was hot in here. The cat jumped out, it's dead. Let's go and get another one.
Right.
I wouldn't worry that much about a cat.
Right. But what if it was a baby?
Well, it's a bit awkward, isn't it?
What do you think of the old people? What do you think of their old issues?
What do you mean?
What do you think about, you know, but isn't it a shame that people work with their life and then just get a little state pension? That
Oh, they do all right for themselves, don't they, old
Yeah.
people?
what do they do?
Just potter about, don't they? Just potter. They don't need much money
No?
as you get older.
What do they spend it on, do they?
Ornaments. Which are fading out, aren't they? We won't have ornaments in a few years' time. No one buys ornaments now. It's always older people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just as you get older, I mean, things are changing all the time. It's like I've said to you about old people that don't have Twixes. They don't eat Twix. But they like ornaments. So that generation, you know what I mean? Things change.
What do you mean old people don't like Twix?
You never see an old man having a Twix. You never see one eating one.
Well, how would you know?
Because you see them, don't you, sat about having Werthers or whatever. But you never see them sat there tucking into a Twix.
I've never thought about it.
Well, that's because you haven't seen one, so think about it. If you saw a fella eating one, you go, that's a bit weird, isn't it?
Brilliant. Start with capital punishment. Do you believe in the death penalty?
Yeah, if they know for certain that.
Well, how do you know for certain?
If they say I did it.
Well, people have confessed before and been lying, haven't they, to get attention or something?
Why would you lie?
You might be protecting someone else. The love of a parent for their child who's committed a terrible crime might say, I did it. There's loads of reasons. How can you kill someone? How can you make that a definitive ending when you can never know if they
Because
did
that person wouldn't do it again, because then they'd know, wouldn't they?
What?
Say if I did a murder,
Yeah.
you said, I'll take the rap for it,
Yeah.
right? You go and get hung.
Yeah.
I can't do a murder again because they'll go, so it wasn't him. It was
Why?
Karl.
There's loads of reasons people. If you're mental, if you're a serial killer, you don't stop because you think you might get caught.
So what are you asking me?
I was asking you, do you believe in the death penalty?
No. Well, what do you want me to say? I don't know what the right answer is.
Well, it's what you think. We're having a discussion.
I said if they've done it and that, yeah, do them in, yeah.
Could you pull the rope? Could you release the guillotine?
Why am I getting involved in it?
Well, if you believe in it, surely if you believe in it, you should be able to stand by it.
Well, which one is it? Which one have I got to do? What button am I pressing?
Does it matter?
Well, yeah, it's different, isn't it?
Or you wouldn't hang someone, but you'd...
So what do you do when you hang someone? You kick the stool away? What do you do?
Well, it probably is, I don't know. It's probably more sophisticated now. It used to be a trap door, didn't it?
So you just go like that. It's an easy gig. That's a job. That's someone's job.
Okay then. Okay, we're not getting anywhere here. If you had to be killed, right, would you rather be hung, beheaded, burnt at the stake, or lethal injection?
Probably injection.
Definitely. It's a, you just go to sleep. What if I tell you everything else is the same, but with a lethal injection, as he injects you, he just slips his finger up your arse for a laugh?
Why would that happen? Is that in small print? Have they told me that before?
I'm just saying, would it make a difference if you're going to die anyway? So you just lay down like that, like, he just injects you and he goes, okay,
But why is he doing that?
What?
Why is he doing that?
Just for a laugh, why not?
For a laugh?
Well, yeah, if he's killing you, if you're worthless to society, why doesn't he might as well put his finger up your ass? What's to you? It doesn't make any difference to you, does it? You're going to die in a minute.
And do I know he's going to do this?
Yeah,
I'm not happy.
So what is it then? Lethal injection with a finger up the arse? Hanging?
I'm not happy with the finger up the arse.
No, you're not. But surely you're not happy being put to death.
I'd just say, hang on a minute, why are you putting gloves on? Why are you getting that finger out to get my arse?
Because maybe he doesn't put gloves on. Why does he put gloves on?
Well, I'm not happy with that.
But it's nothing to do with you, Karl.
Well, what do you have?
I'd have lethal injection without the finger up my arse. That's not your choice, though. You've done an awful crime.
I'm not having finger up the arse. Hang me then.
Well, you'd rather be hung than lethal injection with just popping a finger up your arse.
I don't want that. So
Okay.
what are my other options?
Have your head cut off.
You know about the... are you still alive for about 30 seconds after you've had your head cut off?
Wouldn't have thought so.
You see, this is, again, you believe the monkeys typing away.
Well, it's nerve reactions, isn't it? You're not alive as such.
Well, they got them to walk years ago, whenever they did the last sort of head chopped off thing. How long ago was that?
I don't know.
A few years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they said to him, right, you're going to die in that. You've come to terms with it.
Yeah.
Have a bit of fun, right?
Finger up the arse?
No. Going to do a white line on the pavement.
Bollocks. How could they tell him that that's what they were going to do? So he was meant to what? Remember this and walk the white line without a fucking head?
Well, this is what they did.
Well, no.
They painted a white line, right?
Yeah.
They said to him, right, I'm going to cut your head off.
Yeah.
There's the line, have a look now, right? So you know where it is.
Karl, think what you're saying. How's... How is he going to remember it without a head?
No, you remember. You remember.
Where's the memory? Where's the memory in his legs? Where do you think you store memory? In your fucking arms?
Yeah, but if you do it quick enough, if it's like go, and you
No, he's
plonk
lost
him
his
there,
head.
and he's walking, and he walked.
No, it's bollocks. It's bollocks.
He did 35 steps.
Bollocks.
It's not bollocks though.
Because how can the body remember what his head was told a few seconds ago? His head's now in a basket.
Yeah.
The body doesn't go, what was I meant to do? I know, I was meant to walk along.
Well, they did it. It was a test.
Well, no, it wouldn't happen. You're talking shit again.
Okay.
Believe in absolute bollocks.
So as you with the monkeys and the Shakespeare. That's what annoys me.
It's not about monkeys, is it? It's about random.
Yeah.
So you'd have lethal injection?
Lethal injection, yeah.
I think that is best. Well, thanks very much, Karl Pilkington.
Carl, I'd like to ask you, if I may, stop twiddling that. Now, this is interesting, because you were fiddling with a bit of plastic there, and it was annoying me, and I know that a lot of things annoy Ricky, get very infuriating for him. Social etiquette. Now, that's a very, that's not obviously inscribed by law. These are just things which have built up in society. So, for instance, it's impolite to sneeze and then shake someone's hand.
Yeah.
It's...
Or sneeze straight in their face and go, oh, sorry, I've got swine flu.
Now, those things are obviously good practice in terms of avoiding the spread of disease, so that makes sense. But other things
Also,
are
it
more
might just be
arbitrary.
disgusting. If someone hasn't got a disease, I don't like to see someone sneeze on the pavement or sniff or scratch their arse.
So social etiquette, I mean, how do you decide... I mean, what prevents you from being truthful and honest at all times?
I don't know, there's something in you, and sometimes you can just pop it out, can't you? I've been in a situation when I've said stuff and I've thought, why did I say that?
Go on.
But it's not always... in the dentist. Last time I went to the dentist, I was sat in the reception bit, big fat woman comes up the stairs, massive she was, had a right sweat on.
Right.
She gets there, and...
Out of breath.
Yeah, she was, again, you know, I mean, she was friendly, dead friendly, but kind of like, you know, leggings on, sort of, you know, shoes but not on properly. She was stood on the heel.
Yeah,
You know, like she couldn't be bothered.
Yeah.
It's like greasy hair. And she went up and she's being all happy and everything. And I think that's what annoyed me. So when she sort of said, oh yeah, I've lost weight, she was talking to the woman behind the counter. And she sort of said, yeah, I find it really difficult, especially living where I live and having to come down this high street because there's so many cake shops and everything. And she sort of said, you know, today I've walked past, normally I always have a coffee and a donut, but today, you know, I didn't have a coffee and a donut. And I just said, why was it shut? Right?
No, you didn't.
I did, honestly. Honest to God, on my mum's life. I said, why was it shut? She said, oh,
Hold
you
on,
know.
why did you butt in? She wasn't even talking
Honestly,
to
I
you.
know, it's really, really weird. It's
Did
really
you have
weird.
to shout across the dentist waiting room, or were you
No,
stood
it was
next
just,
to
it's a small waiting room, you see, you got the stairs, you go in, you've got about 4 chairs, and then this old desk, and I get on with the woman behind the counter, and I always sit close to it, and it was just me there, and I was talking to her about going to Corfu or something. She comes in sweating like some bison up the stairs, and she's there, and because she was showing off, it was like, well, you should have done it a long time ago. I think she annoyed me that she wanted some sort of pat on a big hefty fat back. That she hadn't bothered having a donut that day. Now, maybe it's the inner me that just came out, because I remember saying it and actually getting home saying to Suzanne, oh, I said this and I didn't even think I don't know
I know
where
what
it
you mean
came
though.
from.
Sometimes you want to go around with people and they're going, oh, I need, you want to put them down. You want to go, I'm stocking out with you because you're going to go straight back to that and do this, that. You know, I know you've had a lot, just inject them in the head. Absolutely pointless. Get rid of it. Yeah, I know what you mean. But talking about social etiquette, I was in flying to Edinburgh, and I was with Matt, my assistant, and there was a bloke on a mobile phone across the way. Right, he's going, yeah, I'm just going to get on the plane now. And he kept talking that loudly to people, right? And I was fuming. Then he stopped and made another call, and I was giving him dirty looks, and Matt was going, no, sit down, son. And then he was going, hiya, in the airport, and I shouted, he's in the airport. He didn't notice. I was shouting over. I was fuming, and Matt was just getting so embarrassed.
But they don't see it, though.
And people were looking at me like I was the mental case.
Yeah.
But it was so fucking loud, and I moved through to another place. But I wanted to get someone. I wanted to be policed. I want to go, right, there's a cunt over there swigging beer, thinks he's a fucking Gordon Gekko player, and he's not. He's some cunt who's got his first mobile phone. Right? But what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is infringing. That's like passive smoking to me.
Yeah.
It annoys me when you hear these awful middle-class parents talking to their kid loudly enough to let everyone know what their kid knows. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They bring up conversations because they're showing off about the kid. Toby, what's that you were saying earlier about you preferred Beethoven to... Right, okay, if that kid talks about Beethoven and Chopin, right? Do you know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
It's like people showing off, thinking that the world is interested in everything they fucking say. That thing about everyone's got access, which is fine, but it's those fat fucking morons on docu-soaps that go, I speak as I fucking think, you useless fucking blob of shit.
Yes. Have an education, research, think, discuss, then offer your opinion.
And stop your kids chewing on a fucking big ball of fat. Your leg.
Got someone specific in mind there? I think wearing glasses makes you slightly exempt from that. It's like you don't have to... People automatically dissociate. It's like if I was in prison, I wouldn't have to do that because I'd just be the professor. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly,
or brains.
yeah.
I would.
They'd
I
come
wouldn't
to
need to
you
be part
with
of it. I'm never a threat because I never look like I'm going to be a tough guy. So consequently, I live in this sort of parallel stratosphere where I haven't got a piss and gob.
Yeah.
Has that got more popular?
Yes.
Has it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people doing it in the streets now.
Really?
It's
not
like
not
avoiding-
in Hampstead.
It still is, you know. When I walk
The only
here,
person gobbing in Hampstead is me. Jane says, don't gob. People are looking.
well, it is. It's your trail that I'm seeing there. It's like a load of sort of washed-up jellyfish in London. Just big blobs of it. I mean, I don't know how they're coughing this stuff up. I mean, they shouldn't still be alive. Some of them have, like, organs in them. It's just big lumps of stuff.
Talking of the English sense of fair play and war, when the crossbow was invented, a lot of people wouldn't use it. They said it was unchristian. So our soldiers sort of resisted it. So Europeans got this thing that needed no skill, and it was shooting these bolts, and they could reload quick, and versus our bowmen. What do you think of that? What do you think of going, oh, it's cheating, we won't use it, but having a disadvantage? That's honour, isn't it? It's almost like it's okay to kill someone, but with skill.
But what's the problem here? What am I meant to be worrying about?
Well, you've got bow and arrows.
Yeah.
They're amazing. They're heavy. They're your arms. They've got trained bowmen. They're skilled. The most skilled sort of marksman soldiers in the country. Someone comes along, goes, don't worry about that. Here's a crossbow. Just pop it in, put it back. Deadly, quick. Anyone can use it. So now you've got anyone with a crossbow killing people.
Women, children.
Anyone can use it. So the Europeans, they're going crazy. Oh, William Tellon he's shooting apples off heads.
Yeah.
Right? But we resisted it because we thought it was, you know, unchristian and cheating to kill without skill. What do you think of that?
But where were the actual bows and that being made? Because that's the thing, isn't it? The company who's making them, they just want
Right.
to get out to a big market.
Brilliant.
That's what they do now with the iPod and everything. It's not about people wanting more music than ever before. That's not the case. It's about having the accessory. And if the bow and arrow was like sold as this, you know, light to carry for all the family, that's how it would have happened. That's what it's all about.
Ye new bow and arrow from Ronco.
But what do you think the problem
Yeah, but
is?
you're not quite getting Ricky's point. His point is the idea of there being sort of rules and fair play and etiquette in war. The
I don't
objective is
think
to
that's
kill
a
the enemy.
place. I don't think war and that is a place to start getting all uppity about someone cheating or having a better system.
Really? You think all fair in love and war, do you?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. But
It's
there's
just
got to have
about
rules,
winning.
isn't it?
No, not in a war. There isn't rules.
So what about things like the Geneva Convention? It's the understanding that even if we're entering into a war, theoretically, there's a set of agreed
It's good for both
universal
sides,
rules.
isn't it? Fair play has got to come into
but
everything.
What's extraordinary about the idea of English fair play is, you know, famously the approach during the First World War, that we would sort of walk up out of the trenches onto no man's land and sort of politely march at a slow, steady pace across towards the enemy.
know.
I mean, and then we were just being machine gunned down. I mean, it was absurd.
Well, I know we were fodder. It was fodder to use up some of their bullets. I mean, it was crazy.
I mean, it's madness, but in a way, it's the gentry who are leading us, seeing, you know, the average Tommy as a sort of, as cannon fodder.
Of course. And, you know, you've got to realise that most of the people didn't want to be there. Most of them didn't even understand it. I mean, and if you think of the first and second, you know, they were just wars, you know, but, I can't imagine
How
what
would
it'd be
you
like.
cope, do you think, Carl, in a war situation? You've seen all those films of the,
I mean, that's the one they had a knockabout and stuff, didn't they? They took, you know, the game of football and
In
that.
no man's land, yeah. Christmas Day.
But who took a football there?
I think this is example of you, Carl, is you give up too easy.
Yeah,
you know,
and
you took up the boxing, you gave
see
that up straight away.
You think there's no point in anything?
I did Crusaders for I think I lasted that out for about 4 weeks.
What's Crusaders?
Well, he was my mate, right? He was religious.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not really. But
No, I mean, you believe in ghosts, though, and shadows pushing people off bikes, but go on.
it's the same time. I think I told you once before that I went to the church with this lad because I swore, and he said he was going to tell me dad.
Yeah.
That was effing and jeffing. So he said, if you're gonna
Is that how they get people to church nowadays?
I love that one kid. That he hasn't got the idea of the protection game. There's nothing in it for him. Either you turn to religion, or I tell your father.
Right, so I went to church with him and that, and then the next week he said, I know that was rubbish and you didn't enjoy it. It's when I got kicked out for messing with a tennis ball in the pews, right?
I don't think we've heard that, but I don't think we could possibly go into that now.
Summed it up.
Yeah.
So,
Well, no.
Come on,
that's
we'll
it.
come back to that. You had a
Okay.
tennis
That's the
ball and some
story.
pubes.
No, in the pews.
In the pews, right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I went there and I said, I don't think much of this church thing, it's a bit boring.
Sorry, and so you went to church and you ended up in the Crusades?
No,
The
it's called,
what's
it's
the
called
crusade?
the Crusaders. What it is, it's meant to be the fun part of religion for kids.
Right.
And my mate said, oh, you want to come along? It's, you know, you go on a Friday night
Yeah.
and do it on a Sunday as well. Right, so I went on the Friday night, it was brilliant. They had Sabutio, played table tennis in this dead big old house.
And what do they do at the end? Say, I hope you enjoy yourself. Remember, God gave you all this.
Well, it's sort of, you know, enjoy the simple things in life. You don't need computer games, you can play table tennis and that, and talk with your friends.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. I thought, yeah, that's alright.
I think you'd be happy in a young offenders institute. You get to clean the toilets there
But
as
don't
well.
forget, Carl, I think God invented Nintendo too.
Right. Well, anyway, so that was alright. I loved it on the Friday.
Yeah.
And my mate said if you go for 4 weeks in a row without missing a day,
Yeah.
you get a free badge. And, I was
And
like,
salvation.
Oh, I don't like all this sort of being stuck in stuff. Do you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
what put me head in
Yeah,
about
don't get
school.
tied down.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, every day.
Yeah.
Right, so, anyway, so you've got to come again on Sunday, so I thought, well, we'll have another game of table tennis, it'll be alright.
Yeah.
So anyway, I go on the Sunday.
Who was this servant of God?
Right. I go on the Sunday, it's like a totally different club, there's no table tennis,
That's how they trick you.
no Sabutio,
Yeah.
they start handing out Bibles.
Oh.
and
It's
I
like a
s- I was like,
timeshare
hang
thing.
on a minute, right?
They trick you.
So I didn't go again on Sundays, I used to just go on the Friday.
Just go on the Friday. Brilliant. Brilliant. I'm amazed no one else saw through that.
Well, the thing is, there used to be loads there on the Friday, so
I bet
I
there
thought they won't even notice if that
Yeah.
I'm not, like,
Yeah,
do you
sure.
know what I mean? That I'm not showing up on a Sunday. So anyway, carried on, it was
Just
brilliant.
this kid and the vicar?
Oh, I love that. You got one over on the church.
So I was loving it, right, playing table tennis and that,
Yeah,
and
no
then on a Sunday, they found out where I live, and the head fella started coming round, knocking on the door.
God.
He's everywhere, Rick.
Why did he knock?
The fella,
Politeness.
the fella who like ran the club, he started coming around knocking on the door, and I saw him coming up the path, and I said to my mum, "Oh, it's the fella from the Crusaders."
Yeah.
She didn't even know what I was.
No.
in. She
She
was
thought
like,
you were
"What
off
are
nicking
talking
hubcaps
about?"
and stealing cars.
She didn't
Yeah.
have a clue what I was talking about.
You've been going to
You
church.
went to church? I don't
You
believe it.
little
That's
bleeder.
not how we brought you up.
So I said, "Look, just tell him I'm not in. Tell him I'm not in." And she had to keep doing this, and they were coming round every Sunday to try and make me, like, go on a Sunday. It was really important that I went and that I was abusing the system and all this. Anyway, I didn't go, And then
Why didn't they just tell you on next time we turned up on a Friday?
Yeah.
no, well, because there was so many people there on a Friday, you just get mixed in the crowd.
Yeah.
It was jammed. It was well popular on a Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, on one of the Sundays, it was quiet for a bit, and they stopped coming round. So I thought, right, I can go out again, right, on a Sunday, because I used to avoid hanging around the house in case
What sort of reign of terror is this?
Incredible.
Right. So I thought,
It's
right,
like the Spanish Inquisition.
so I thought, great, they forgot about me.
Yeah.
Everything, I can carry on in sort of normal life now.
Yeah.
And I was playing out in the avenue. Fella comes round.
Oh.
And he goes, there you are. You know, you're always busy on a Sunday. You enjoy Fridays and that, don't you? I was like, yeah. He goes, well, come on, you've got to come with me. And I couldn't get out of it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what could I say?
Charlie says.
Right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, he nearly killed me in a car crash. So that was the excuse I used next time. He had a Mini, right? And he was driving us there, and he hit the curb, nearly sort of turned over the Mini. Right? There was like 3 of us in the back. So I said...
Is that a record?
So next time,
Or was it a joke?
Next
Go
time
on.
he came round to pick us up, I said, look, really enjoyed it and that. I said, but ever since that journey, I really, you know, I don't want to get in the car with you again, because it scared me a bit. And I said,
Right.
all right then, I didn't have to go again.
That's all right, isn't it?
That's extraordinary.
Yeah.
He almost killed you in a car
It's a
crash.
parable that thank God no one was hurt.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Your life moves in incredible ways.
Yeah.
Rather like God.
Yeah. So,
So there you go.
they're probably round there now, aren't they? Is he coming tomorrow? I thought of another phrase you could just sitting here talking to you, flogging a dead horse.
Yeah.
What do you think that means? Flogging a dead horse.
A number of people are still amazed by your complete lack of understanding some of these famous sayings and phrases. So,
Well, that's an easy one.
Yeah, that's like, you know, get a new horse, or
No, he hasn't got it.
no one's going to buy it
No, it doesn't mean that sort of flogging.
when you're hitting it.
Yeah.
right.
So what's the point in hitting it? So
It's dead anyway, so don't bother hitting it. It's
absolutely
not
it's
feeling
pointless. It's a it just means it's a waste of time.
anymore. Yeah, but it depends what that horse has done to you.
No, it doesn't.
No, it does. It's that thing, innit, of like, if a bear attacked you and you managed to hit it on the head and it went down, you'd go and you'd be annoyed. You'd still have built-up aggression. You'd give it an extra clout.
Unbelievable!
That's extraordinary.
I don't know who's compiling this book.
Sometimes it's worth flogging a dead horse if he did something to you, if he annoyed you.
Carl, I've got a couple of little facts for you, just to try and inflame your imagination.
Go on.
Sharks are immune to cancer.
Really?
Yeah.
So how have they found that out?
Well, I don't know, but
But I've never heard of any fish having cancer though. I haven't heard of a cod being ill. So why are we focusing on that one?
good point. Okay. Stroking a spider can cause its hair to fall out.
What? Because it doesn't like it and it gets stressed out, or is it just that some people are rubbing too hard?
No, I don't think it's they're rubbing too hard. I think it's something to do with it. I mean, what sort of maniac is stroking a spider anyway?
My mum did it once.
Really?
Yeah, not to a spider. It
Right.
was just a little bee. She'd been out, sunny day and that. Got the washing off the washing line. She was bringing it in. Little bee sat on the top of like the bed sheet or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And she's in the kitchen with it, and she goes, "Look at that little bee there." She started sort of stroking its head. And it loved it.
How you did make it clear that it loved it.
Well, it wasn't struggling. It was just sat there like, because it must have been like a bit dozy. They get a bit dozy, don't they, in the heat and that. And he just stayed there on the sheet, and she sort of stroked its head for a bit, and she had to put it out. It didn't go out. It didn't try and escape. It was like, "You've had enough now." And that was that. She sent it out. She loved all that. She loved little flies and stuff. And we had Harry the housefly.
What?
Harry the housefly.
What do you mean?
It's just a fly that always seems to knock about in one corner of the room.
Right, it's the same fly, was it?
Yeah, it was the same fly. Yeah.
How do you know it was the same fly? So whenever she saw a fly, she went, "Oh, look, it's back."
Well, we weren't letting him in. It's just that it stayed in.
Carl, what makes you think it was a pet housefly as opposed to a different fly every day?
Because it was always in the same place, in the corner.
But it could have been that something about that particular place that attracted flies rather than it was the same fly.
Well, I'm never worried about it. It wasn't harming us. It just always hung about.
But how do you know it was the same fly? How do you
I don't
recognise
know,
it?
We weren't worried about it. It doesn't matter, does it? If like we're thinking another fly's getting a bit of free rent or something, just let it stay. I don't understand why.
But why no? Well, no, right, okay. You're in a house, right? There's flies, okay?
Not flies, fly.
Why do you think it was the same fly for all those years?
Just because we haven't got loads of other flies. At no point was there a crossover period where there's two, and it's like, hang on a minute, he's trying it on here. That's what I mean. It was always just one on its own. And we just thought, leave it. It's all right. I don't know why. Why are you suspicious? Why you always think someone's out to do you?
No, I don't know why you assumed when you see a fly every now and again that it's exactly the same fly.
It just
fact,
was.
it's Harry.
The one in our house was the same one.
How do you know?
Well, all right, I don't. But at no point did I feel suspicious. Speaking of flies, though, and that, they've got one, right? I was out with Ricky, right, and he was reading the paper. There was a story there about a fly that its eyesight was bad or something, and they've made it a pair of glasses, and it had a picture of a housefly wearing.
Okay, this is incredible, Steve.
Glasses.
Can I take over?
Hang on, let me just need to finish a couple of questions for that. So there's a small fly and they've made it a pair of glasses.
Yeah.
So that it can see better.
Yeah.
And your concern is what?
Well, again, it's just that thing of we're looking after everything now, aren't we?
Sorry, I've got to come in here, Steve.
All right.
I showed you the
saw
story.
it, you saw
It was
it.
a picture of a housefly with a pair of glasses
Glasses on, yeah.
Right? It was about a one-sentence thing. It was about how far technology's come.
Yeah,
And
and
a
we're
group
helping
of
flies
scientists
out.
using microscopy, right, and laser tools had, as an exhibition, shown that they could make a pair of glasses smaller to fit on a hat. They put it on there and they've taken a picture of it and it's on as a display. At no point was it actually, because the fly had bad eyesight, the fly was presumably dead, it was purely an art installation or a show of technology.
I thought you were going to say, Rick, that you'd drawn the glasses on there.
Yeah.
And he believed it like, there's a bearded lady in this paper. No. My God, Tony Blair looks like Adolf Hitler. No.
What do you think of that, though?
But they did it as an
Flies out.
experiment.
Yeah, but all things start as an
But
experiment.
why would they make a pair of glasses for a fly?
How would they know he had bad eyesight?
How would they know it was the same fly?
bumping into stuff? I don't know.
Bumping into stuff.
But why would they bother making glasses for it?
And they've got a compound eye. They'd have to make about 1,000 pairs of glasses for a fly.
It's just that thing, innit, of human nature is something's wrong with something, let's fix it. And they try and help people out all the time, don't they? When you know, we're always doing it. We're always trying to help people out instead of just going, you've been dealt a duff card, cope with it. We're always fiddling, always fiddle about. It's like that bit about what was it? You see, this is technology going mad and that. They're doing operations on people, right? And instead of injecting you with stuff that knocks you out, they're going to hypnotise you, and they operate on you when you're hypnotised, but you're still awake, so you sat there awake, you're aware of what's going on around you, but you can't feel anything because someone's hypnotised you. Why are we messing about with that when there's nothing wrong with the injection?
Well, there are. I mean, it's not healthy to constantly give someone
Very
anesthetics.
dangerous.
Yeah,
Very
but you
dangerous time.
just said it yourself there, constantly. If
Yes,
they
but if you
keep
do
coming in
multiple
having stuff
operations
done,
on someone-
don't be doing multiple operations.
Well, sometimes you need to.
Why?
Because of
Knackered,
whatever the
forget
complaint
it.
may be.
Yeah, but no, not multiple. Give them 1 or 2 max. After 2, it's like, enough's enough. We've operated on you, we fixed that. We're not fixing anymore because it's just there's gonna be something else wrong with you. Because you're getting old. Like the world. Get on with it. That's what I'm saying. Stop sort of ploughing stuff into it. Like I've said before about a car. You know, the gearbox has gone. Alright, we'll replace it. Oh, exhaust. Well, alright, we'll put an exhaust on it. Oh, the oil filter. Forget it. Came up with a good idea.
We'll be the judge of that.
Well, I'll do it now. It's not a good idea.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sticking my neck out here. I think this isn't going to be a good idea.
Okay.
Thoughts?
Well, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to second that motion.
Okay, let's see. Let's see if we're both right.
See-through skin.
High five, Rick. Picture on the when I was on the plane coming back from here, there was a picture of this new luxury hotel. It'll be, I think, $10,000 a night to stay there. It looked extraordinary. It was a hotel, and the best rooms were built under the water, under the sea.
Wow.
So it was the best hotel we've ever seen, but surrounded on all sides by glass, and out of it you could see the sea, the sharks, the fish.
I don't think I'd like that.
No?
But that, again, that's just one of them hotels where it's over the top for over the top sake, isn't it? Like where they have 12-course meals. Well, just have 2 but make them bigger, rather than dragging it out and there's the first course. You know, a couple of
snails.
Yeah, it's just for me all that is.
Don't eat a snail. Don't have one snail. Eat one big tortoise. If you want slow food, don't have loads of little snails. Here, there's a giant tortoise. Tuck into that. Feeds 10. But it's what you were saying before. When you start having to take a risk with food, like the fish that can kill you if you eat it, don't bother. There's apparently a delicacy in Japan, again, someone could verify this, where they eat a live little octopus. And it can stick to your throat, because it's obviously fighting for its life. I mean, good. Again, you don't need to eat a live octopus. What are you thinking? How cruel is that?
Well, how fresh do you need your food? It's not, do you know what I mean? But I always remember this story when I was a kid about, some bloke who, a bit sad, this story, but weird. He had, throat cancer, right? And his doctor said, carry on with your life, right? It's not going to be that good, but just carry on, but don't eat meat. And he was like, oh, I love meat. He's like, yeah, but just don't, have your veg, plenty of vitamins and stuff, keep yourself strong, but don't be eating that. Anyway, he was fed up because he loved his meat, and his wife was feeling a bit sorry for him one day, and thought, I'm sick of him looking fed up and that, all he wants is some meat, for God's sake, give him some meat. So she goes to the butcher's, gets him a big piece of, like, steak and what have you. He can't believe it, he's like, oh, brilliant, cheers for that. Anyway, he's got the meat on his plate, just about to tuck in, and the cancer comes out from his throat.
What?
No, it's something, I know, it sounds really weird, but it's something that I was told about years ago when I was growing up.
What are you talking about?
It was just some bad illness, some cancer thing, and it was coming out waiting for the meat. It was sort of dying.
Again, I get a lot of your medical knowledge is from
the film Alien.
So this guy with throat cancer, okay, as opposed to it being a disease of the cell.
It was like a living.
The alien.
So it was the animal. It was the little animal cancer.
That's why he wasn't allowed to eat meat. He wasn't allowed to eat meat.
So it's sitting there. So it's actually sitting there in his throat. I'll tell you what I'd have done if I'd have had some cancer in my throat. I'd go, there you go, rid of that. What are you talking about? So what happened?
He choked to death on this thing, and the wife was like, "Oh, I shouldn't have given him the meat after all." Just
that's a bollock story.
It's all. There's loads of weird stuff like that that happens in medical stuff.
Well, the terrible thing is, if you got testicular cancer and you eat meat, your bollocks come out of your trousers, and they're all over the plate, and you have to be asked to leave the restaurant.
The other thing that I was told when I was younger about medical stuff and that.
Who's telling you this stuff?
My mum told me about it.
Jeez.
Because she always says to me, Dad, because he has too much meat, and she's always like,
Remember the
fellow with the
troll in his throat.
But my gran, she had something wrong with her eyes. And they sort of took them out, and they were just dangling on her cheek, and she could still see through them. They were operating on her.
Oh, yeah, you would have, yeah.
They sort of say...
No, she wouldn't have been conscious, though.
No, they were then, because it's something to do with the eyes, and it's like... No, it's no good operating on eyes if your eyes are asleep.
What do you mean, your eyes are asleep?
It's like a heart, isn't it? You want to keep them awake.
No,
so
what do you mean you want to keep them awake? What, heart surgery is blokes awake? Stop talking shit all your life.
What I mean is, they don't stop the heart. They sort of...
they don't stop your heart, because it kills you.
Yeah, I know. So what I mean is, it's like the eyes, they wanted to make sure they were working, so the only way to do it is keep her awake.
No, it's not, because you don't know whether they're working or not. You can't see what she sees. What, you think, you can plug something in and see what people are thinking.
It was something like that.
No, it wasn't something like that.
Well, she could see. She
No,
said it
she
was
couldn't.
really weird. How, like, you know, you can see.
She could see her knees.
That is